your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The stage is set for a Senate showdown over Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch. Fox News Radio's Melanie Wilkes is live in Washington.
Lisa, the Judiciary Committee has advanced Gorsuch with a party line vote of 11-9, and now Republicans appear ready to deploy the so-called nuclear option to move the Gorsuch nomination along with a simple majority instead of the 60 votes needed to break a filibuster. Republican Lindsey Graham.
If you're filibustering him as a Democrat, that just means you don't accept the fact that President Trump won.
Democrat Dick Durbin says the GOP strategy will damage the Senate.
I just hope at the end of the day we can resurrect what this institution was all about and should still be all about.
Gorsuch is expected to be confirmed by Friday. Lisa?
Thanks, Melanie. President Trump has said he would support the nuclear option.
We're comfortable in the sense that obviously that decision is up to Leader McConnell to make, how he wants the Senate to deal with this. I think the majority leader's comments are very clear in the direction that he's headed in.
But White House spokesman Sean Spicer says Democrats are playing politics and that the president is disappointed with that. He won't comment directly on reports that a senior Obama administration official, former National Security Advisor Susan Rice, ordered the so-called unmasking of names when Trump campaign or transition officials were caught up in foreign surveillance.
I will say that we have continued to say that I think there is a troubling direction that some of this is going in.
And he says, Spicer says the White House supports the ongoing investigation, which is part of the larger Russia probe in both the House and Senate Intelligence Committees. Wall Street starts April with some losses. The Dow down about 12 points at the closing bell. That's a big turnaround, though, after a triple-digit sell-off in the morning. Part of that blamed on disappointing auto sales overall for March. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get you grassity. Want to mow well in a higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Investigators in St. Louis still trying to figure out what caused the explosion this morning that launched an industrial boiler the size of a van through the roof of a box company, slamming much of it down hundreds of feet away in a neighboring laundry business. 3 people were killed, 4 others injured, some of them in critical condition. For now, the investigation continues. There's late word that the National Hockey League is now confirming it will not take part in the 2018 Olympics in South Korea, adding that it considers the matter officially closed. March Madness ends tonight. The kings of college basketball will be crowned outside Phoenix, where Fox's Chris Honig is live.
Lisa, the countdown to tip-off is on. Gonzaga and North Carolina for the college basketball crown. We had over 77,000 here at the University of Phoenix Stadium on Saturday for the semifinals, the second largest crowd in Final Four history. It figures to be jumping again tonight as Gonzaga looks for its first ever national championship. North Carolina, its 6th. The Tar Heels go in as 2-point favorites, but Coach Roy Williams is not entirely comfortable with that.
I just have a great deal of both, respect and fear both, because I think they're really good.
Tip-off set for right around 9:20 Eastern Time, 6:20 locally. Lisa.
Thanks, Chris. It's also opening day for 24 Major League Baseball teams.
I took the day off from work.
He's part of the excited crowd at the nation's oldest ballpark, Fenway in Boston.
This is tradition. You don't come do this, the Sox might not win.
The season started yesterday for 6 teams. Late-night television wouldn't have been the same without Ronco.
The Dial-O-Matic Mark IV can slice, dice, chop, slaw, julienne, and French fry.
They also sold the Veg-O-Matic, the Pocket Fisherman, many other gadgets. Now they're selling their own stock. The Texas-based company hoping to raise $30 million. Ronco sold more than $2 billion in housewares and gadgets since the early 1960s, but right now, Texas company is about $17 million in debt. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long, whether it's heating or cooling. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Expect occasional thunderstorms to continue for the next several hours. A low of 50 tonight. Tuesday, overcast. We'll get more rain most likely. High 59, a low of 43. And Wednesday, wet. High 51, a low of 36. And I see Thursday there's a possibility of snow.
What?
Just a little bit.
Oh, my. Okay.
I mean, the low is at 31, but...
Well, it's baseball, softball kind of season around for all of us, and it's never a nice day for that.
Right now, rain throughout the area, 61 in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. Yeah, that game last night.
You know, you had to screw up my Carlos Martinez win for fantasy baseball. I had Pedro Strop on my team. I picked him up for the day. I'm like, get me a strikeout.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And he gives up 2 runs.
And then he gives up
Because that's what everyone wants to hear the show lead off with, Jeremy's fantasy baseball team. But it's here.
And you know what?
No matter what you like about baseball, whether it's fantasy, whether it's watching the White Sox probably lose today, whether it's watching Cubs Cardinals, baseball is back.
That was fun. Just the whole thing surrounding opening day anywhere is awesome. I do think, and I know it's because I'm a Cardinals fan. I do think they do it really well. Bringing out all the Hall of Famers, bringing out the Clydesdales. It's just
the best opening day in baseball.
Without a doubt. In front of the best fans. But so we're going to talk about that today. And there were a lot of things. I saw a lot of people ripping on Matheny about what is he doing throwing 05 outs. I'm like, let's don't start that yet. Let's just enjoy.
You want to live in your opening day bubble for a little bit.
Let's don't get out of hand with ripping Matheny and
come
everything.
on, we could have come in here today and done our vast overreactions.
I know. Well, here's the vast overreaction. Martinez isn't going to lose this year.
The Cubs bullpen's going to be terrible.
How about
Martinez, man, throwing 99 to 100?
That strikeout early, I think it was the 3rd inning of Chris Bryant. I think there was only a guy on.
Do you want him throwing that hard?
No.
Let's settle in at 97 there, Carlos.
I'm kind of fine with it. I think he was a little bit hyped up, a little jacked up. But that pitch he threw to Bryant in on his hands, 100 miles an hour, I'm like, yeah, he's ready to roll it.
I mean, he can... Is it ridiculous to think he can be John Lester?
No,
I don't think so. With more velocity. Right?
I don't think so.
That kind of consistent, maybe we don't talk about Lester as top 5 guy. He's top 10.
Yeah, he's definitely. Right. And the way he keeps the ball down, that's the one thing that just is so maddening when facing a guy like John Lester, because he just he doesn't make mistakes. You have to beat John Lester, and he'll keep that ball down in that zone. He kept throwing that little pitch just right below the strike zone. It's just maddening. Now, Carlos, I think, is a guy that he kind of still elevates his ball a little bit, but he's just getting better and better in front of our eyes, and it's like he's 25 years old.
And Randall Grichuk through day 1, MVP.
Boom, done.
Right, done.
Hair and everything.
He's the breakout guy. But Piscotty's the one getting paid.
Yeah, what the heck?
6 years, $33.5 million guarantee. Great extension for the Cardinals. Makes sense for Piscotty, but this is what the White Sox have been doing. But they've been extension happy. But John Mazzella trying to lock up his guys long-term, buy out some of those arbitration years and get a couple of team options in there as well. So just a smart move. This is what you do when you think you have a guy who's going to be really good for you long-term and a core piece.
It's so funny, and I think I sat here and told you before we're going to lead with the Karan Taylor news. Yeah. And now all of a sudden we're talking baseball. But it is funny how last year watching the Cardinals, it was just that sense, and I know a lot of it was because the Cubs were getting good. And we're really good. And you knew that was going to happen.
Not anymore. The Cubs are bottom of the standings today.
Now, I hope you enjoyed your 1 year because you're done now.
Isn't that weird? Like how even after one day you look at the standings and it's like, that doesn't feel good.
No,
Cardinals fans wake up today, they're 1-0. They could be 1-5 at the end of the week, but that feels good.
It feels so good to win on opening day. But last year, it just seemed like that transition year for the Cardinals where you were trying to figure a lot of things out. You're trying to figure out how good is Grichuk going to be? How good is Piscotty going to be? We still don't know, but you're kind of in that mold. Where's Colton Long at? What's he at with this thing? Where's Matt Adams? Is he going to be traded? Is Aledmus Diaz really this good? And
how happy were you that he had 2 stolen bases off the bat?
Oh, my goodness.
Old school 80s Cardinals.
No doubt.
I figured Lon loved that.
He even attempted, and he pulled back, but he even attempted a bunt. Or he was going to, and I'm like,
Is Aledmus Diaz going to be everything you thought Colton Long would be?
Yes, I think you're right. That's a great call. Here I'm thinking Colton Long's going to be the guy for me for years. I think it's going to be Diaz. But there's so many things you didn't like with Matt Carpenter. You knew how good he was, but where's he going to play? Yachty, how many more years you have with Yachty? This year, and this isn't overreaction on day one, but it does seem like with these extensions now for Yachty, with Biscotti, it seems like, all right, everything's getting traction again for the Cardinals. They're not going to beat the Cubs in the Central. I'm sorry. If they do, that'd be fantastic. But it feels like you've gained traction again after kind of 1 year of trying to figure out where you were at after winning for so many years. Now it feels like maybe for me, you've gained some traction. Now you can start going. I mean, you've got a good bench with Jerko and Adams. I mean, you've got depth like we always talk about. They've got it.
When the Cubs win the series, let's come back to this conversation.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be like, you know what? Biscotti stinks.
What a waste of money.
Good game.
Yeah.
No.
Dexter Fowler, terrible.
And I do love that guy and just his.
You guys gave him such a big ovation.
Oh,
yesterday.
I know it. It's such Cardinals.
The traitor.
It's such Cardinals, isn't it? It is amazing, though, to have a guy that last year for the Cubs was so key for them and hurt you so often, and now you've kind of just taken that away and added him to your. And you know what? It sets up that top 3 batting order with him and Diaz and Carpenter. I think that's going to be a nuisance for so many teams.
Watching Matt Carpenter swing the bat again. I'm a White Sox fan.
What was he doing at first there? Well, he got me a little angered. He got me a little.
Not a first baseman.
It was so funny. I sat there the whole after I initially ripped on him in a tweet. And it wasn't too much of it. I'm just like, fundamentals, Carp. I mean, you're up 3. You just take the out. There's
Not
2
a first
outs.
baseman.
And then I started thinking, Lon, I mean, the guy's played all over the infield. Give him one break here. Yeah. So they got away with it. They got away with Grichuk and, hey, 1-0.
We've talked with Sahada Sharma, too, about the Cubs side of things. Wilson Contreras could be one of the better catchers in baseball.
Unbelievable. When they brought him up last year, and you know me.
I mean, I know this is a faulty kind of logic, but you put those numbers over 450 to 500 at-bats. It's one of the top catchers in the league.
Could be, and he's under control.
Yeah, and you see the defense. I mean, he got stolen on a couple times last night, but there's a little bit. I don't know how he calls a game yet,
right?
But just when you talk about arm strength and how active he is behind, there's a little bit of Yachty.
There is
in there,
and I think you saw it last year when he first came up. Yeah. You saw a little bit. He's got a little bit. There's an edge to them. There's an edge to that kind of a player, and I don't know if you're a guy going against him, if you're the other team, you don't like that.
Because he's kind of a self-made man. I mean, he wasn't a big prospect. And then he kind of remade his game down at the minor leagues.
And you know me, I love rebounding in basketball, and I feel like you got to have a good catcher to win in baseball.
And the White Sox have never.
And since I've known you,
we had a guy you wanted to beat up. Right? That was his best contribution.
Since I've known you, the White Sox have not had a good catcher. So hopefully that'll change for you.
That's why trading Carson Kelly to me doesn't sound too bad.
6+ years of knowing Jeremy. He's never had a good catcher.
We'll talk some baseball. Kevin Wheeler, 101 ESPN in St. Louis at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk Final Four national championship game.
Yeah.
It all comes down to 2 number 1 seeds.
Isn't that shocking, right?
2 very different programs. So North Carolina going for its 6th national title all time. There are only 2 schools with more national titles on. Can you
UCLA.
Name them? That's correct.
And Kentucky. No?
I had it up here a second ago.
Well, we know it's UCLA.
I think it is Kentucky.
Okay.
Duke has 5.
Oh, Duke has, okay.
They're tied with Duke right now. But yes, Kentucky.
Isn't that unreal? I mean, it's just unreal. And here you've got the classic 90% of the world will be rooting for Gonzaga tonight, right? And then there's the 10% of Tar Heel fans that are on your own because you know what? You have earned the right to be a blue blood, which earns you also the right not to be rooted for by the normal average fan who wants to see a new team capture some hardware, and that's why everybody's going to be pulling for Zags.
Which game? UCLA has 11, and Kentucky has 8. Duke, Indiana, North Carolina with 5. Wow. Next on the list, Connecticut, UConn.
Really? And that's all with Jim Calhoun, or not Jim Calhoun. Is that right?
Yeah, 3 with Calhoun and 1 with Kevin Ollie.
Man, that didn't even make sense when I said his name. And I forgot Kevin Ollie had one. Wow, so Carolina a chance to really make history here by stepping ahead of a Duke.
Getting to the top 3.
And every fan of North Carolina knows exactly how many titles they have and exactly how many titles Duke has.
Yes.
So this one would be big for that.
What's impressive about Duke, they've all been since 91.
Unbelievable.
Right, Carolina had one in 48, 49, 51, 58. Or no, that's Kentucky. Carolina had one 57 and 82.
With old MJ.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I'm excited for the game tonight, but as usual, I don't know.
I think this matchup's really interesting.
Could be.
Because North Carolina's the I wouldn't even say deeper. I think they're the more athletic team.
Agree.
Experienced at this level with a coach who's been here at this level. So you give them a little bit of experience there, just like against Illinois in 2005. But Gonzaga has the big dudes.
They are big.
I mean, Karnowski's great, but Zach Collins, you can see why that kid's a lottery pick.
Yeah, I was going to say, he'll be lottery, right?
Oh, he's a freshman. He's a lottery pick. That's their backup. Comes in and does that. But their guards are big and
Goss
good.
is huge.
Right? I think it's a really interesting matchup, especially with Joel Berry hurt. That ankle's been bothering him for a while, so I think it's going to be a real good matchup, and that's why North Carolina only favored by 2 in Vegas.
It should be fun, and the one thing that struck me watching those games Saturday, well, I actually watched them Sunday morning, had the old trivia night that we did Saturday night, so I watched them Sunday morning. The thing that struck me, and I hope I'm wrong here, and I know as fans, and I'm not a fan of either one of those teams, but you look deep into things. When Gonzaga won that game, and they had their post-game celebration in that locker room, and Mark Few got doused with water and started doing a handstand, and I almost got the sense, I'm like, man, Gonzaga feels like they just won the national title by winning this game. I'm like, guys, there's still work to do here, and Carolina almost seemed like business-like.
They've been waiting a year for this, right?
And we got one more game.
After Marcus Page had one of the best shots we'll never remember.
That's right. Isn't that the truth?
Right? I mean, that was one of the best shots we've ever seen, and then Villanova.
They hit a 3 to win it. Yeah. That's unbelievable. That will be interesting. So that game is tonight. So, again, one more night of not sleeping.
So we'll talk with Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst at 5:25. But at 4:30, we're going to talk with the first Illinois football commit of 2018, and he's a local kid. Karan Taylor, the Peoria quarterback, made it official this morning. Kind of expecting Karan to make this decision for a while, but he was hoping to get more recruiting interest. The process didn't play out for him. Illinois State and Miami, Ohio were his only other offers, which is really interesting for a kid who's got great film, had a state championship. Scout ranks him the top quarterback in the state and a top 30 quarterback in the country. Now, we're higher on him than a lot of other people.
Fair enough.
Alan Truman had that ranking, but this is a very good player. Winner has some rawness to his passing game, but has a lot of the tools Garrick McGee's looking for in a quarterback. And when you have a quarterback like that in state, they didn't get Quincy Patterson out of Chicago, but they're able to get Karan Taylor. It's nice to get this class started off.
Just to get it going and get it rolling. Is he undersized?
6'3", 205.
Well, that's not undersized then.
There's a couple factors here. Karan had some academic work to do. I talked to his coach, Tim Thornton, at Peoria today, and he said he's made a lot of progress this last semester, was on the honor roll, so it seems like he's trending in the right direction there. I think a lot of schools thought Illinois was going to be the pick all along, so there's like, why waste our time with this? And he hadn't been out to a lot of camps. A lot of schools hadn't seen him throw up close, because even though they see film, a lot of schools want to see that up close. It's different on film than it is when you can see him up close. I even saw that this weekend as I was up at Hallis Hall watching some of these kids go through the Nike opening camp. So it's different when you're able to see these kids up close next to other kids. So, but Karan Taylor, Illinois liked him all along. They offered him first before any school, and they're able to close the deal now. So it's nice to get this started in a class, especially with Illinois. They're struggling right now in state.
Well, and we just had a question on the Jupiters of the Crossing. Chief Bauer text line. Excuse me. It says Illini in Milwaukee happy about Taylor, but should we be panicking about missing the likes of Newsom, Ford, and O'Rourke?
Here's the thing: for a lot of people who don't follow recruiting,
I was going to say, who are those kids?
Really good players in state. Luke Ford, top tight end in the state. I think he's the best player in the state. I saw him this weekend. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. He's an unbelievable receiver. He might be a better blocker.
Unbelievable.
For me, even if Vertus Brown and Houston Griffin are in the state, I think Luke Ford's the best player in the state.
That is saying a lot.
And he visited Illinois, loved it. Was considering not going on any other visits. But he went to Arkansas because he had it scheduled, committed there.
And Alabama had given him a commitment, right?
No, Alabama offered.
Or offered, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Alabama had offered. They wanted him too.
Wow.
Ohio State wants him. Michigan wants him. This kid's unbelievable, but why did he pick Arkansas over Illinois?
Well, I mean, I know why.
Wins.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And facilities.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what it's coming down to. I don't think Illinois has done anything different in this class. Northwestern's tearing it up.
Okay.
Because you know what they have? They've won under Pat Fitzgerald.
Yes, they have.
And they have a facilities plan that is ridiculous.
Okay.
Illinois is lagging. I know Lovie Smith got here, and he did great at the end of the year last year.
Sure.
That's a great start in the class. But you don't have wins, right? I mean, Lovie Smith's great, but selling hope only works for so long.
There's no doubt.
It's the same thing that comes like when this Michigan State, they're going to host Mark Smith this weekend, most likely for an official visit. When you have that tangible stuff against Illinois, which is hope,
you're right.
I mean, what's the easy decision for these
No,
kids?
it's totally the easy decision.
So the one today, it was a bittersweet day for Illinois because they get Karan Taylor, one of their top quarterback targets, but they miss on Greg Newsome, a defensive back out of the suburbs, and he commits to Northwestern. They have 5 commitments in state, including Devin O'Rourke, who Illinois wanted. They have the 12th ranked class in the country right now, and it's because they have wins, the facilities, and they're proven. Right?
It's true.
Illinois needs to prove it, and that's hard to do. I mean, that's why rebuilds are very hard to do because kids want to buy into winners. I mean, sometimes you can get a Regis Ben or a Martez Wilson, but more often most of that roster was not full of Regis Bens and Martez Wilsons.
No, it was not.
Right?
No.
So they need time to build this up, and sometimes you got to get kids out of state. But they really ended the class last year in state. But Greg Newsome hurts because they really wanted that kid. He fit perfect in his defense. So it's kind of a bittersweet day for Illinois football recruiting, but getting the first one is nice. It's a nice start, and now you're probably going to have to recruit harder in St. Louis and out of state. But in state, they've had a rough go of it to start this.
And this isn't going to be an especially large class, correct?
I mean, we might be talking 15, 16 kids.
So
they are being a little picky with who they offer. So I know everyone just wants – Illinois plays it kind of slow.
Okay.
If you notice, there's a lot of schools that just offer a bunch of kids and take as many commitments early as possible. Illinois doesn't do that. They want to make sure they have the right kid. Now, there's some downside in that.
Right.
Maybe you miss out on a guy that you could have had. I mean, Kendrick Green, they might have gotten a lot of lucky because they waited a long time to offer him.
And Iowa had not.
Yeah. And they're lucky that Green hadn't committed to Iowa the week before they offered.
No doubt.
So that it could have some downside, but they also just don't want to miss on it. They don't want to take a kid and really not want him and be stuck with him.
And especially when your class may only be 15. I mean, if it's 25, you can afford to miss on a couple maybe and take chances. But this class is going to be one that I'm sure that, listen, they got a game plan. They've got a plan in place, and I'm sure it included Newsome, or they hoped, and included Ford.
There's obviously kids that they've missed. I mean, they've been hurt the last month.
Fair enough.
It's kind of a setback, but now you got to bounce back. For those who haven't seen Karan Taylor, ran for 1,671 yards, 22 touchdowns, passed for 1,542 yards, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's got really good film. He needs to improve his mechanics a little bit, but that's to be expected. Great runner, great athlete. Really, I think his passing is a little bit better than Quincy Patterson.
Okay.
Some people think it's raw, but he's got a strong arm, shows some good touch, but he's just a gamer. He's got an it factor.
That's what you said the first time you ever saw him.
He's got an it factor to him that he's just, when the lights are on brightest, he just makes plays.
I like it.
And that's
you can't
that's
teach
a tangible that you need more so in a quarterback than almost any position in sports.
Would agree. And don't forget fit, right? I mean, we talk about evaluation and evaluating these guys. We talk about it all the time in basketball. Maybe Garrick McGee looked at this kid and said, look, maybe you don't like him, but I love the way he looks, and I love the way he can fit
Same
in my
thing with
system.
Cam Thomas last year.
Exactly.
Cam Thomas barely had any offers last year.
That's true.
Illinois offered, they wrapped him up, and some other Big Ten programs are showing interest, but they offered, and everyone's like, oh, he's going to go there.
Yep.
And he's a really good athlete. We'll see how that works out, but it's definitely a different style of quarterback, but I think they got a pretty good prospect here.
Can't wait to talk to him. We'll do that at 4:30. That'll be fun. Of course, we talked a little bit about St. Louis and the win last night over the Cubbies. Kevin Wheeler at 4:05 is going to join us from 101 ESPN. Kevin said he's going to be sitting at home watching baseball on the TV and his iPad. So he's like, I'm doing nothing, man. He's like, just bug me whenever you want. And then, of course, Sean Harrington at 5:25 will get you ready for the national national championship tonight, North Carolina and Gonzaga.
If you want to weigh in on the weekend of sports, you can call us up on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line or text the Cheap Hour text line at 217-359-2255. That's 359-2255. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at J Warner Scout.
At Lonte, ESPN. See you.
Download the WSJK app at your app marketplace and listen to us anywhere in the world on your smartphone. Get our podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. You can watch us live on YouTube. Just search Tay and J Show. Our interns today, Harry Black, Tyler Knight. Is it Jack Long in there?
It is Jack Long.
Oh, and Andrew Tay.
Andrew Tay is here as well with a hurt butt. He came out of school today.
He's butthurt today?
He's butthurt. He came out of school, and he's like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? He's limping. He's like, I fell on my tailbone playing basketball. I'm like, oh. So we have a major injury.
He got a haircut.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought he was going to keep that growing.
Well,
bother his dad a little bit.
He's got the mini-me looking today.
He does.
Besides the cargo, he's got the pullover and the cack shorts. He's mini-me all over the place. 359-2255. If you'd like to weigh in, it is the Tay and J Show.
Oh, hey, hi, hello there. It's me, your air conditioner. You can call me AC if you want, but Mr. Conditioner is my dad's name. Okay, listen, you may have noticed that I'm using a lot of energy right now, and that's why you need to call an expert. Yep, the experts can give me a precision tune-up, so you'll save up to 30% on energy bills, and I won't have to work so hard, which is great because I'm about to pass out.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save $41 off an AC Precision Tune-Up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement questions? Our experts from Kramer Siding and Windows can help. Thinking you could use some extra help with landscaping? Think Country Arbor's Nursery. Experts are online, waiting to talk to you at StevieJay.com. Talk to Dr. Shu and our experts from West Main Dental to keep your smile bright. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com.
Listen, this whole do-it-yourself thing is fine for some projects, but when it comes to window coverings, not so much.
Tell me about it. I did some do-it-yourself shades that are best described as uneven and twisted.
Yeah, I've seen them. That's why I'm going with Budget Blinds.
That's a style and service for every budget people, right?
Yeah, and that is for real. Budget Blinds has no surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty. The best in the business.
No surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty?
No brainer, right?
So Budget Blinds comes in, measures everything, orders for you, then they install it all?
It's a beautiful thing. And now you can get up to $500 off on Signature Series window coverings.
Another no-brainer. Number, please.
855-BUDGET-BLINDS. Or go online to budgetblinds.com.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS and get the experts to do it for you at a price that fits your budget.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now.
Offer good on selected products at participating independently owned and operated franchises only. Some restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
Our Champaign County nursing home failed a recent public health inspection. They've been fined for inadequate care. Medicare has dropped them to a 1-star rating, and over 80 beds are empty. Seniors in our community deserve better. We've given the politicians who run the home over $37 million and now have the worst-run nursing home in the county. Now they want more money but refuse to make changes. We need to take the nursing home out of the hands of politicians and put it in the hands of a responsible organization that knows how to manage care for seniors. Opponents of a sale are spreading falsehoods. If the nursing home is sold, not only will no one be kicked out, but more seniors will be helped, and the quality of life will be improved for all. It's time to stop the political games and bring in professional management. On April 4th, vote no on the property tax hike and vote yes to sell the nursing home to someone who will give our seniors care they deserve. This is paid for by Save CCNH. Vote to sell.
Learn, work, and earn at Blackburn College in Carlinville, Illinois. Looking to connect with the future? Check out the new majors offered at Blackburn College. With more than 30 majors to choose from, add new majors in ag business, game design, cybersecurity, and arts administration. Did you know Blackburn College is the least expensive private 4-year residential college in Illinois? Plus, they have a 99% placement rate in the workplace or graduate school following graduation. Choose a unique educational experience where you learn, work, and earn at Blackburn College. Visit blackburn.edu.
When you're heading home, Tay and Jay are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
3:30, I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update, brought to you by First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Illinois football landed its first commitment in the class of 2018 this morning. 3-star quarterback Karan Taylor gave his verbal commitment to the Illini. Scout.com ranks the state champion, the top quarterback in the state of Illinois, and number 29 quarterback in the country. As a junior, Taylor ran for 1,671 yards, 22 touchdowns, passed for 1,542 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. It was a bittersweet day for Illinois football recruiting, though, as top safety target Greg Newsom from Glenbard North committed to rival Northwestern. 5 of the 9 Wildcat commitments are in-state prospects. The Wildcats class currently ranks number 12 in the country, according to Scout. Illinois baseball swept Indiana State over the weekend, much needed after a poor start to their season. Their overall record is 9-16. Illini pitcher Ty Weber named Big Ten Freshman of the Week. He threw a complete game on Saturday. Illinois softball took 1 of 3 from number 6 Minnesota. Dylan Meyer won the individual title at the 3M Augusta Invitational, leading the Illini golf team to a 4th place finish. Gonzaga goes for its first ever national championship tonight, while North Carolina looks to become the 3rd program to win 6 national titles. 8:20 tip-off on CBS from Glendale. After their walk-off win last night against the Cubs, the Cardinals continued their extension frenzy, signing Stephen Piscotty to a 6-year extension that will pay him a guaranteed $33.5 million. Carlos Rodon will be sidelined 5 to 6 weeks with bursitis in his left biceps. The White Sox just opened their season at Guaranteed Rate Field today against the Tigers, and the Warriors have targeted Saturday night's home game against New Orleans as the return date for Kevin Durant, according to ESPN.
Oh, I forgot he was out. All right, Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. You can call us on the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line or text the Chief Bauer text line. Same number, 359-2255. I recall hearing, I think it was the Cavaliers GM talking about Kevin Durant going down and what that injury would do to the Warriors. And he said, guys, I understand that you never want to play most of your season without one of your stars. But he said as long as he makes it back, and at the time they thought he would be targeted to be back by the playoffs, he's like, that may be a blessing for Golden State in the sense that they can kind of learn how to win without him. And then once you get him back and you know what he can do, it's like...
It's funny, learn how to win without him. They won 73 games last year.
Right. No, that is true. In fact, I think I laughed that day when he said that. It was on Russillo's show.
Right.
But it's like, I see where they're going.
And he gets rest.
Yeah.
I do think there's a worry about team chemistry and all that.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine.
Yes.
There's just too much talent there. They're going to make the finals. The question is, can they beat whoever's out of the East? But the Cavs seem like the weaker team at this point.
Funny?
They're weaker bet to actually make the NBA Finals. So I think they'll be absolutely fine. I remember 2 years ago, Steph Curry had an ankle injury coming into this thing. We're like, are they going to win this? And they just rolled to
Just rolled to a title. Will there be any kind of... in the East, I guess, where there'll be any kind of, I don't want to say, I can't think of the word, tension, or is this just Cleveland's game to the NBA Finals?
I mean, Cleveland's bouncing back. They've won back-to-back games. I think they'll figure it out. Who has LeBron James?
Yeah, amen. That's all it really is.
I mean, in the end, who has LeBron James? Who has the deepest roster? I think it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've just been banged up. So I think they'll be fine. I mean, Boston, Toronto, Washington are nice teams. The Bulls aren't going to... right now, it would be the Bulls and Cleveland in round one. Because Jimmy Butler's too dang good to let the Bulls not make the playoffs.
He is too.
So right now, I don't see an Eastern Conference team knocking them off, but they're not playing great basketball at this point. Boston's a nice team, Toronto, Washington, but it's not like they're a San Antonio. If San Antonio was in the East, I think the Cavs would have a real problem.
Since we're talking random NBA right now, I'm going to throw in a random NHL. Jake Allen right now for the Blues is on fire. That kid is on fire. I don't know that the Blues have, well, I know the Blues don't have enough to go deep in the playoffs, but Jake Allen playing like he is right now, if he continues to do this.
What would keep them? Because they're playing as well as anybody in hockey right now.
They really are. I just
don't. Isn't it about getting hot?
I think it's well, and I think they're hot right now, obviously. And I know I was listening to their pregame yesterday. What a day in St. Louis. They had a Blues game and then, of course, opener for the St. Louis Cardinals. But they were talking about how really there's not one team that the Blues should be scared of. But the problem is scoring, goal scoring. And when you put that much pressure on your defense, and keep in mind Shattenkirk gone now, and your goalie with Jake Allen, that's a lot to withstand if you're a team that really can't put the puck in the net. And the Blues are always without that top-line center. They've never been able to find one. And I just think the scoring will hurt them. Vladdy's good, but teams can neutralize him a little bit. I know the Hawks couldn't last year in that first round, and he went crazy, but I think they can neutralize a guy like him. And then you look at Chicago, they can do it all.
They lead the West by 7 points. The Chicago Blackhawks.
They're unreal.
Right now. Yeah, they're pretty good. The Washington Capitals, I see, are again leading the NHL in
Once
points.
Again.
Are they finally going to
I don't know.
Get to one here? Or?
This is becoming such a funny story.
Like what is the
equivalent?
For a long time, it was the Dallas Mavericks in the
good
NBA.
Call.
The Dallas Mavericks would be a great regular season team, and then they just fold in the playoffs.
You know who the equivalent is? It's the Blues. For how many years did the Blues make the playoffs and even win a President's Trophy one year and never get it done?
1 year. You know, the Capitals win that every
you're right.
year.
It seems like they're every year. And they've got more than enough talent to win that.
Right.
It is weird, but you've got some, they ran into a hot Tampa team one year. You've got Boston with Tuukka Rask the 1 year just went crazy. It's funny. It just seems like in that side, there's always a surprise team. And then in the West, it just seems like it's the same guys every year. The Hawks.
Right. How many of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 President's Cups trophy winners have won the Stanley Cup?
Oh, my goodness. I hope this isn't a trick question. I want to say that there'd be like maybe two.
Yeah, it is.
Is it two?
I can actually go back to 14 of them.
Wow.
Only two. The Red Wings in 2008 and the Blackhawks in 2013.
I remember the Hawks doing it in 13 because they were just so dominant that year.
The Capitals won the President's Trophy in 16 and 10.
Unbelievable. And for those of you that are NHL dumb, and I understand why.
They reward a trophy for best regular season record.
Yeah, whoever has the most points.
They hang banners for it.
They do, and you're proud about it. I know for the Blues, when you don't have a cup up there, a cup banner, you get excited about a President's Trophy banner. But you're right. And then Phil and Rantoul, thanks for they can't ever beat Pittsburgh. He's right. I mean, and that was the other team I didn't mention. You had Tampa 1 year, you had Buffalo 1 year, and then, of course, Pittsburgh with Sid has been unreal. Sid Crosby.
Pretty good.
He's really good.
Is he still the best hockey player in the world?
I think so. I think Connor McDavid is close. He's close. He set the NHL All-Star. He set that record for the fastest lap from a dead start, and he's just fast with the puck. And it's kind of the gist of it was, everybody wants to anoint the next guy. We had Gretzky, who's the best ever. Then he anointed Crosby, and everybody's now wanting to anoint McDavid. But it's like, hold on a second. Sid's still pretty stinking good.
All right, the Cardinals announced their extension of Yadi Molina, 3 years, $60 million. And I kind of want to ask Klebs this. He's sick today, so we're going to have Wheeler on instead. Among all-time Cardinals greats, where's he rank?
It was interesting. You know how they do the pomp and all that with the Cardinals, and they bring out the guys, not only the baseball Hall of Famers, but the Cardinals Hall of Famers like Jim Edmonds and such. They brought those guys out, but when they brought the baseball Hall of Famers out with Bruce Sutter and you had La Russa, Herzog, of course Shane Dees, and Bob Gibson, and then Ozzie gets announced. Yeah. And the roar for Ozzie Smith.
I guess should I term it that way? Like a fan favorite.
Fan favorite?
Where would he rank?
Okay, you'd have Ozzie Smith, you'd have Willie McGee as a fan favorite, and probably Yachty would be close behind. I mean, I think by the time it's said and done, with the fact that he won at such a high level and was so good at his craft for such a long time, winning Gold Gloves, and was such a leader in that clubhouse, I think when it's said and done, he will get an equally loud loud roar as any of them.
I mean, it's a given. The top four players in Cardinals history, right? Stan Musial, Albert Pujols, Rogers Hornsby, and Bob Gibson.
Yes, I think that'd be a good list.
Indisputable,
yes,
right?
Stats and all.
Then seems to be Ozzie.
I think Ozzie would be next.
Enos Slaughter.
Well, yeah, and that's hard when
Ken Boyer.
Old country boy Slaughter back in the day. I didn't see much of his.
Most people put Lou Brock up there.
Yeah, I think Lou would be up there. And then you start getting on those fringe guys like Willie McGee.
Adam Wainwright.
Wayno.
Jim Edmonds.
Yep. I mean.
Your boy.
Tommy Herr.
Ray Langford.
Oh, I know. Hey, Ray played a lot of games.
He's got to be up there.
I know.
Right?
He played a lot of games. He'll be in that. Is he in the Cardinals Hall of Fame? I don't think he is yet, but he will be. Yeah. I mean, he played a lot of games in St. Louis. There's one guy. He was loyal. You got to give him that. I just wanted him gone the last 6. But it is amazing, and I think Yachty will be right there with the rest of them. He will be that guy that we
Langford
all thought
is not.
Pujols. Okay, he's not in the Cardinal Hall of Fame. All right, I see that happening here in the next couple of years. He's the guy, I'm talking Yachty, that I always thought would be Pujols. The guy that would have the statue. I still think they'll get one of Pujols out there eventually, but you wanted...
You guys used to have one, right?
Was
there an Albert thing?
I don't think so.
Was it a restaurant, or I don't remember.
I don't think there was an Albert thing. But I definitely wanted... I mean,
how can you not have an Albert Pujols statue?
11 seasons of... I mean, only Stan Musial comes close to stats that Albert put up. If you're talking Cardinals.
Right.
The stats that he put, I know we soured on him, and rightfully so, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, when he took off and went to Anaheim. But come on, man.
I saw the best fans in baseball Twitter this morning, and somebody put out like, oh, the Cubs, I'd take Matt Carpenter over Chris Bryant. I'm the biggest Matt Carpenter fan. And they went on to say, the Cardinals take hometown discounts to stay because they want to be Cardinals. I'm like,
is that a parody account? I mean, do they try to be like...
Well, they retweet real Cardinals fans.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
They retweet real Cardinals fans. Oh. And I'm like, except that one guy.
Except for Albert.
Because the Angels gave him so much dang money.
And if you think Yachty gave you a hometown discount at 3 years, $60 million, you're wrong. Now, he's making what he should make.
And he really didn't take one last time.
He didn't.
I mean, 5 years, $75 million at that time.
That was a big contract.
I remember talking about that in the show. I'm like, is he worth that?
I know.
And he was.
Yeah, he was.
He obviously proved to be it. And I don't mind this contract either.
Not at all.
The legacy, but he's also just a great player and a great guy to have in your organization. But that contract at that time, that wasn't cheap.
It was not at all. And now he's got another one, and hopefully he'll retire. Last night watching that game, it took me all of about 2 innings to become so uncomfortable with that Cubs lineup again. When you look at the depth of that, Kyle Schwarber is leading off.
And it just showed how great Carlos Martinez was last night.
No doubt. And I'm not taking anything away from him.
I mean, first 7 innings, he only gave up, 3 or 4 hits?
Yeah. I mean, he was on, but you have to pitch like that to beat the Cubs. That's the scary thing. You have to pitch like that to beat Chicago with that. And then you get the bases loaded with 1 out, and you're up 1-0, and here comes Bryant and Rizzo. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is the worst case scenario in the world. And what happens? Bryant pops out to shallow right, and Colton, I'm like, get out of the way, Colton. And then, of course, Rizzo hits one down the right field line that Piscotty runs down. I'm just like this.
Here, a 217 texter said the Pujols statue was at his restaurant out in the western suburbs.
Oh.
It was taken down and changed names.
I did not know
there
that.
was a story like that.
I never saw that. I didn't even know he had a restaurant in the West End. How about that?
Cardinals fan?
What they do, just go decapitate the statue or something?
So tomorrow night you have Arrieta Wainwright. How's Wainwright going to deal with that lineup?
Oh, I hope his curveball is not hanging. I'll put it that way. Keep it tight, kid.
And then Lackey Lynn.
Yep.
And then you start the series Friday against the Cincinnati Reds. Mike Leake against Amir Garrett.
Reality slaps you in the face.
You get to play the Brewers and Reds that many times.
Isn't that great?
Good for you guys.
Isn't it funny, though? Seriously, you will watch these Cubs. If you're a Cardinals fan here, you'll watch these 3 games against the Cubs, and you're on the edge of your seat the entire time that they're up because they're so dangerous. And then you'll face the Reds, and it's like, when does Votto bat? That's all I'm worried about. Votto.
So could a Pujols statue happen with his contract with the Angels?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. Isn't he owned by the Angels?
Yeah, he owes them 10 years of basically being like an ambassador.
So he'll be 60 before the Cardinals can even welcome him back to Busch Stadium.
Because he's going to hit home runs until he can't trot out there on one leg.
Totally agree. No, that will be weird because I wonder that. I assume one day he will be the guy riding around in the outfield And with the greats, and some of these guys are getting old. That's the other thing I noticed. I know they are old.
You need to replenish them?
Well, I guess. But, man, you see, like...
Let's bring back Jimmy Edmonds.
Red Shandy's and these guys trying to get out of it. Mike Shannon looked terrible trying to get out of
He's
that car.
Old.
I know.
What happens when you get old?
You get like I got like all emotional. I'm like, oh, no. Like, these guys aren't going to be around for very long. But
which guy getting old hit you hardest?
That's a good question. Can I think of that over the break?
Yes.
That's a good question. Because as I've gotten older, it's true. Like, as you get older, there are certain athletes that you watched when you were young, and now you look at them and you're like, oh, my gosh, I'm old. Yeah. All right, I'll think about that over the break. That's a good question for our text line as well, 359-2255. Old former athletes. Who made you feel old? It's the Tay and J Show.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You get in your car, start it up, and press the gas. And from your phone, you hear, and you respond. And then in your rear view, OMG, it's a COP. And then you learn that a ticket for texting and driving is nothing to LOL about. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane Comfort Specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
Save the date for Cunningham Children's Home Festival of Quilts. Friday, April 7th and Saturday, April 8th from 9 to 5 with sponsors like Arby's, Carl, Fertilizer Dealer Supply, and Simtech. Get your business involved now. For details, visit cunninghamhome.org.
Bowl for kids' sake is easy as you support the mentoring organization Big Brothers and Big Sisters on March 31st or April 7th from 6 to 8 or 8:30 to 10:30. Sunday, April 9th from 1 to 3 at Old Orchard Lanes in Savoy. BBBSCIL.org for details.
I'm Dr. Barry Howell, a dentist and candidate for the Parkland College Board of Trustees. Every day we hear about the need to educate and train people for careers in healthcare. Parkland College is at the forefront of that effort, and I want to use my experience and background to help Parkland achieve that goal. In addition to treating thousands of patients over my career, I recently served as president of the Illinois State Dental Society, working to improve dentistry throughout the state while encouraging young students to choose a career in healthcare. As a member of the Parkland College Board of Trustees, I will work to increase student enrollment while reaching out to businesses to identify ways to meet the demands of our changing workforce. And I promise to hold the line on property taxes by finding sensible ways to save money in these challenging times. I'm Dr. Barry Howell, and I would appreciate your support on April 4th for the Parkland College Board of Trustees. Paid for by Howell for Parkland.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Warner. We've got Kevin Wheeler at 101 ESPN in St. Louis going to join us at 4:05. As mentioned, Mike Claiborne was going to start our annual Claib's Lounge, and he not feeling well today. I guess opening day got the best of him. So he's going to join us tomorrow. He said he would if we want him. And, of course, we always want Claib's.
So I was thinking during the break, who's the last...
You think Claib's has a Lante sick, or do you think
I
he's
was
like legitimately
up,
just sick?
Because we had a texter say Shannon wasn't old. He was just...
Poor Mike.
Having a little fun.
I think he gets a lot of grief. I've been in that KMOX booth, though, and there is Bud and Bud Light accessible in the very back.
So I was thinking with the national championship game tonight, Gonzaga, obviously not in a high major conference, right? Even if it's the Big East, which is no longer Power 5, but you think of BCS kind of conferences, who was the last champion that came from a non-high major conference?
Goodness.
I'm just going through these. 2016, Villanova. Year before, Duke, Connecticut, Louisville, Kentucky, Connecticut, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Florida, North Carolina, Connecticut, Syracuse, Maryland, Duke, Michigan State. I'm back to 2000. That was the last Big Ten champion, by the way, 2000.
Was it really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big Ten doesn't win national championships in basketball.
Holy cow. I knew they didn't have a great, high rate of that, but I didn't know it had been that long.
Connecticut, Kentucky, Arizona, Kentucky, UCLA, Arkansas, North Carolina, Duke, UNLV.
That would be it, wouldn't it?
The last one, 1990.
Wow.
From a non-high major conference.
Wow.
And then I'm going back. I mean, you got a couple Big East champions, but that's a huge conference.
Yeah, back then it was.
In the 80s. Marquette in 77.
That'd be one. That would definitely be one.
UCLA had their run. In the middle of that run, Texas Western.
Yes, that's right.
1966.
Holy cow.
And in 1963, the lone Illinois school to have a national championship is...
Isn't it Loyola?
Loyola Chicago in 1963.
Unbelievable.
And they beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati had won it back-to-back in 61
and that was
62.
probably Oscar, right? Big O?
Yep, and San Francisco with Wilt Chamberlain won back-to-back in 55 and 56.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
So since 1990, you haven't had a team in a non-Power 5 or non-high major conference.
I think that shows you the big boys are the big boys, and that's what it's going to be like every year. But this is a chance for Gonzaga to update that stat. This would be an interesting game tonight. Do you see Carolina though just having too much?
I don't see this being a blowout.
I don't either.
Now that'll probably be wrong, but
right.
I mean, Gonzaga's been the best team in the country these have been the best two teams in the country most of the year.
Agreed.
It's rare that you get this kind of matchup.
That's exactly right.
But Gonzaga has lost one game, and they played some pretty good opponents.
And who beat them? BYU, who Illinois beat.
So Illinois wins the national championship.
Really, Illinois should be playing for the national title tonight. In our, what do you call that?
Can you imagine Illinois against one of these teams? Can you sit there and think about
just like
Mav Morgan going out there against this Gonzaga team?
Going against Meeks or one of the big guys for Gonzaga. Illinois
what Justin Jackson would do to this team?
Illinois just mucks it up for about 8 minutes.
Just run ISO with Malcolm Hill all day.
The 12-minute timeout happens, and
when you get
Gonzaga's only up 3, and you're like, yeah, we're in this.
Even when you see South Carolina, and you see the style of play and the identity they have, you sit there and go, this team would have had no chance against these
different.
guys.
It's so different. I mean, to see the level of talent that is out there.
And just the level of coaching and play.
Everything.
Hopefully that changes soon.
This thing will be at where the Arizona Cardinals play.
Yes.
This stadium. They've now hosted... They've hosted a Final Four. I saw this the other day. A Final Four, a Super Bowl. There's 4 things they hosted. A national championship game in football, and there was one other thing that they hosted, and no other facility in the country has hosted that, and they've done it in like 26 months.
Have you ever been to a Final Four game?
No.
That seems like the worst viewing experience ever.
No, wait. Yeah, I did. That's why I paused. Yeah, I was in 05.
Yeah.
I was down there for Illinois and Louisville, and I luckily had great seats. But yeah, you look up, like in Indianapolis, let's say, when they hosted the first 2 rounds,
that monstrosity of a building, the Lucas Oil.
I would look up at people. Now, granted, their teams were playing next, let's say, so they were just kind of up there hanging. They looked so far away. I'm like, how do you even know what's going on?
You're looking at the big screen the entire time.
That's exactly right. I get
the excitement of being there. If your team's there, I get the excitement of being there, but just watching a game experience?
It's never been a bucket list thing for me. Like from that point of view,
I don't have Final Four on that. Like, wouldn't it be better like if it were in the United Center or something like that? Like that's a better atmosphere for a basketball game.
Hey,
isn't it?
you know what? That's all about money,
Well,
right?
yes.
No, but you're right. It would be. And this morning or this afternoon on Russillo and Cannell, they had who was the little guard that got hurt for Duke back in the day? Jay Williams. Is that right?
Yes.
So they had him talking about depth perception, and he was talking about how he thinks that this won't be a problem tonight at this one because they do a pretty good job of darkening the back. But he said sometimes when you get in these monstrous football stadiums and everything's light, he's like, normally the court is the only thing that is lit, and then everything behind it's dark. He said, but when you get in here and everything's lit and you start seeing through the basket, he's like, it's hard to shoot.
That'd be like us going to do a show.
Yes.
In the United Center.
That's right.
Like in the middle of the floor, it'd just be weird.
It'd be completely different.
Right?
Totally different. Well, we did that up at White Sox. Remember the White Sox game? And we did it at the bar, which was a
wide
place.
open. It was a good show, fun show.
Yeah, it was a great area, and we loved doing that, but it's just different. And when you're not used to doing where you're used to doing it, it is different. Can I laugh real quick at the White Sox? I swear, like, we're going to quit laughing at them eventually. Yeah. But they just did, like, the national anthem and had all the kids out, like all the players out down the first and third base lines, and they still have the tarp on the field. It was just funny.
What do you want them to do? It's raining.
Oh, I know, but it's like, well, why don't you wait till it's done raining before we announce the starting lineup?
Maybe they wanted to keep the tarp on the field to keep it dry.
Maybe
for when
that's
they
true.
Start to play.
I don't know. It was funny.
Why are you going to make fun of my White Sox?
I know. I am. I'll stop making fun of your
we're finally
White Sox.
starting to do things right. Rebuild the right way.
All right, you asked me who have I seen that makes me look old?
Yeah, like which athlete that has aged rapidly makes you feel oldest?
I don't know that he looks bad, but the other day I saw David Robinson, the old David Robinson, played for Navy and San Antonio.
He was one of the fittest guys in the world. Like his shoulders.
Oh.
Like I don't know who would win, Dwight Howard in his prime shoulders or David Robinson in his prime shoulders.
David Robinson had to have had negative body fat. I mean, I don't think that's possible.
The Navy did him well.
Yes, it did. But I saw him, and it took me aback. Because I'm like,
you're seeing pictures of Patrick Ewing today, too, right?
Oh, wow, I know. And the other guy is Willie McGee, because Willie McGee is a guy that I covered. Like, I interviewed Willie when I worked in television, and, I mean, we don't know each other, but he was one of those guys, and now you see him getting off that car yesterday or truck. I'm like, ooh.
Interesting you brought up David Robinson. I had a random thought. Like, I saw him for something over the weekend. I'm like, would he be good in today's NBA? Like, all those 90s and 80s centers?
I think he would. Because he could get up and down the court.
Yeah.
And he could shoot.
Right.
He had a nice mid-range
Would he
jump
be
shot.
a better LaMarcus Aldridge? Like, Aldridge is good in today's NBA.
You're probably right.
Would Ewing have been good?
I don't know.
He's lumbering.
I don't think so.
I mean, Hakeem would have been awesome.
Hakeem would have been great.
I think David Robinson, I think you're right, would have had a chance.
Yep.
But Patrick Ewing and some of those other guys.
No.
I mean, Patrick, when he was in Georgetown, early in his career, but then the knee injuries.
Luke Longley?
No.
Would he dominate today?
No.
Who was the other big guy you had? Brad Winnington or something?
Bill Winnington.
Bill Winnington.
The color guy on the radio now. Hey, coming up next, we'll talk some Cardinals, Cubs, baseball with Kevin Wheeler, 101 ESPN. And we'll also talk next hour with Karan Taylor, Peoria quarterback and new Illini commit.
Going to be a fun hour. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hey, home sellers, it's Stephanie Pratt, Coldwell Banker Honeck Bell, your realtor that rocks the real estate market. I am so ready to list your home in 2017. I have the ability to offer you so much with the ultimate listing package. 3D virtual tours, floor plans, professional photos, flyers, and more. We also top position you on various real estate websites. So let's meet so I can view your home, discuss the process, the marketing, and the pricing to make sure that we get the best and highest price when we go live to get it sold. Contact me today. Stephanie Pratt, Coldwell Banker Honeck Bell, your realtor that rocks the real estate market.
The Upper Bout in Champaign, a music store with a different kind of attitude. Their showroom features high-quality brands from Gibson, Martin, and Taylor Guitars to Vox, Mesa Boogie, and Anwag Outfitters monitors, amplifiers. The Upper Bout's expert staff will personalize your experience, answering every question and setting up your guitar exactly the way you want it. Whether you're a lifelong musician looking to add to your collection or a lifelong music fan looking to buy your first guitar and take up lessons, the Upper Bout has you covered. Stop by the Upper Bout on Neal Street in Champaign, next to El Toro, or visit them online at theupperbout.com.
You get in your car, start it up, and press the gas. And from your phone, you hear, and you respond. And then in your rear view, OMG, it's a COP. And then you learn that a ticket for texting and driving is nothing to LOL about. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Spring into your new home with Busey. With free pre-qualifications, you can search for the perfect house knowing all of your options. From a new pool to that amazing new patio, let our award-winning team of associates make your dream of home ownership a reality. Visit Busey.com to apply in minutes or stop by one of our many convenient locations today. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
I'm Lisa Brady. Battle lines drawn over Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch as the Judiciary Committee sends him to the full Senate for a vote. Fox Radio's Melanie Wilkes is live in Washington.
Lisa, Democrats plan to filibuster the nomination of Gorsuch. Republicans do not have the 60 votes needed to end debate, so they are looking to invoke the nuclear option to force a simple majority vote. Republican Ted Cruz.
If the Democrats persist in this foolish filibuster, the Senate majority will have no choice.
Democrat Chris Coons says the GOP is using the wrong approach.
The traditions and principles that have defined the Senate are crumbling, and we are poised to hasten that destruction this week.
The full Senate scheduled to begin debate on Gorsuch tomorrow. Lisa?
Thanks, Melanie. A storm system already blamed for 4 deaths in Mississippi and Louisiana continues its march across the southern U.S.
There's a line of strong to severe thunderstorms moving across parts of North Florida, central Georgia, up into western South Carolina.
National Weather Service meteorologist John Hart. Possible tornado damage already in parts of central Georgia. The Augusta National Golf Course, where the Masters will be played this weekend, evacuated. Tonight's the grand finale of March Madness. Gonzaga would be a first-timer. North Carolina in search of redemption after losing last year. Fox's Chris Honig, live outside Phoenix.
Lisa, Gonzaga and North Carolina play a very similar but very unique style of basketball. 2 big men on the court, but fast, looking for the break. It's for good reason. Bulldogs coach Mark Few basically stole the system from Tar Heels coach Roy Williams when he took over at Gonzaga in 1999.
Just because I had so much respect for Roy, and it fit with what we were doing, and our philosophies were the same.
Defending will be different tonight. Both teams say they haven't faced anyone who plays this system yet this year. Lisa.
Thanks, Chris. On the Fox Reports, fair and balanced.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get to grassity. Want to mow well in a higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Reports in Russia that a suicide bombing is now suspected in the subway attack that killed at least 11 people earlier today in St. Petersburg, Russia's second largest city.
The United States condemns this reprehensible attack and act of violence.
White House spokesman Sean Spicer offering prayers for the Russian people. A second device found at another subway station was defused. As the probe continues into suspected Russian election meddling, President Obama's former national security advisor Susan Rice reported to be the person who may have ordered the the names of Trump campaign and transition officials unmasked during foreign surveillance, and that it was done for political purposes, perhaps for as long as a year. White House spokesman Sean Spicer not commenting directly on that.
I want to make sure I'm clear, I'm consistent. I think we've been trying to say that from the get-go that there's been an ongoing investigation that we have supported looking into this matter.
But he says the investigation appears to be going in a troubling direction. The White House today also defending a visit to Baghdad by the president's son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner, saying the Joint Chiefs chairman invited him along for the update on the fight against ISIS. Another pretrial hearing for Bill Cosby in the only criminal sexual assault case against the comedian in Pennsylvania.
His defense team argued for an expanded questionnaire mailed out to prospective jurors to ensure a fair group from Allegheny County is picked, citing the comedian's worldwide acclaim, while the defense is looking to add interviews he has given mentioning Spanish Fly from a book that he penned in 1991 titled Childhood, and they are also looking to get a 2005 civil case deposition where the actor discussed Quaaludes and revealed he used prescription drugs for having sex with women.
Fox's Michelle Polino. The trial is now expected to start June 5th and to last for about 2 weeks. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Whether you need heating or cooling, call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, thunderstorms likely to continue going into the rest of the night, a low of 49. Tuesday, overcast, high 59, a low of 43. Wednesday, wet, high 51, a low of 36. Right now, overcast, some scattered showers, 61 in Champaign-Urbana.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Werner. We've got Karan Taylor.
Karan.
I'm going to say it wrong the entire time. I better do my... Hold on. Go ahead.
Karan Taylor. Cardinals tickets.
How do you even say that? How do I even spell that out using...
Karan. Cardinals tickets on sale now and start at just $5. The 2017 season full of great matchups and cool giveaways, including 6 jerseys, 3 rings, and much more. Get your 2017 tickets today at Cardinals.com.
Karan Taylor.
Karan.
I'm going to have to do this again. We're going to okay. I got till 4:30 to figure that one out.
Yeah, you'll screw it up.
Karan Taylor. Kevin Wheeler, Karan Taylor. I can do this if you just over and over in your head. Well, here's the good news. Yesterday in Busch Stadium, the Cardinals fans realized that they're the best team in baseball and the Cubs aren't.
That's right.
I mean, it really comes down to that.
MVP, Carlos Martinez, Cy Young.
Not going to lose all year.
That's right. Might not win, but he's not going to lose.
And will be the only bullpen pitcher used the entire season by Mike Matheny. It is time to welcome in our buddy from 101 ESPN in St. Louis, Kevin Wheeler. Kevin, does that sound about right, everything we're throwing out?
Yeah, sounds like you guys are following the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. Of course, what we see on opening day is the way it's always going to be.
Exactly.
Kevin, why do I get so excited, though, about one opening day win? Like not just yesterday, but there have been days in the past where even if the Cardinals I knew were going to be really good, but they lost opening day, I'm just like, this is a failure. This season's a failure right now.
Trade everybody.
Yes, because it's the only evidence you have to go on.
True. Very true.
That's it, If that's all you got to go on, of course you're going to have a little bit of a downer there. Plus, you put on the big show and the parade and everything else, and when you don't win on that day, it's no fun. And so it's a hell of a lot more fun if you set it up in that kind of scenario. You go get a win against the rival, even though it didn't go as smoothly as you would have liked it to. It still went the way you wanted it to, and some of the things you were hoping to see, like the top third in the order, getting on base over 40% of the time in the game last night. And guys like Piscotty and Grichuk and Molina swinging the bat well behind them, I think those are some good signs. I just like to see that order behind them change a little bit.
Right.
In what way?
Well, first of all, Stephen Piscotty should be the cleanup hitter. And that's not just because of his new contract, which is amazingly team-friendly. But, we can't – I think it's a little bit of a surprise to me that we keep being told, and it's not just the Cardinals, it's around Major League Baseball, but Mike Matheny and some Cardinals people, they say these kind of things. Well, we don't want to get carried away with spring training numbers, right? We don't want to get too crazy with that. Yet spring training numbers are why Stephen Piscotty's hitting 6th instead of 4th. I mean, I'd rather look at, I don't know, like what happened over 162 games last year when he was one of your best hitters. And by the way, I think the best hitter in baseball last year with runners in scoring position. Or maybe it's combined the last 2 years, but he's like 372 with runners in scoring position since he broke into the major league. Like, I trust that a lot more than I trust March down in Florida.
I agree.
I think that it'd be nice. Hopefully we'll get that soon. But Peralta wasn't even a cleanup hitter, guys, when he was an all-star in 2015. I mean, he's a 5-6 hole guy. I don't mind Molina 5th because he's not going to strike out. That'll be great. Randall Grichuk should never bat 8th.
No.
The last place you want to put a guy who has pitch selection issues is in a spot where everybody can pitch around him.
Mm-hmm.
So aside from, like me nitpicking those things, I thought a lot of things went well last night, and I love how the manager handled Carlos Martinez and how he handled Son Wano.
Agree. Great stuff.
I mean, Carlos Martinez was dealing. What'd you see out of him last night, Kevin?
A brand new level. And it's his confidence in the changeup, and it's the ability to execute that pitch. There were 2 specific cases, but I know it was more than that, but there were 2 that really stood out to me last night, where he's in a 2-0 count. Now, if you're a hitter and you're in a 2-0 count against a guy that throws 97, 98, what are you expecting? You're expecting the heater.
Absolutely.
This guy busts out an 86-mile-an-hour changeup that's got sink and arm side movement and throws it for a strike, 2-0. I mean, that's next-level stuff. And if that's going to continue, this guy is going to be one of the best pitchers, not just in the National League, but in Major League Baseball. And I want to. Can I make a statement without going over the top? Because I want to make sure you guys can you help me with my disclaimer?
Yes. Yes.
Because I really wanted to make a strong disclaimer on my show today when I pointed this out. But these are not going to be the same 2 guys. I'm not predicting that Carlos Martinez will be Pedro Martinez. But it was age 25 when Pedro Martinez took off. By that time, he had 3 years as a starter, 2 full years, and 2/3 of another season. And he had a 3.5 ERA as a starter in those 3 years before he turned 25. When he turned 25 is when that 7-year run of amazingness started, where it was 3 Cy Young, 2 second-place finishes, I think a 3rd and a 4th in there, too, and a 1.90 ERA and 300 strikeouts. I don't think that's happening for Carlos. But I think there are a lot of similarities, right? Similar velocity, same kind of arm side movement on the fastball, same kind of breaking ball, same build, same nation of origin. Carlos Martinez looked up to Pedro Martinez as a kid, so obviously there's some kind of emotional connection to that too. I think if that changeup is real, guys, that takes him to the next step. If that changeup can be there all year, especially behind in the count, and there's nothing worse for a hitter than thinking fastball and getting that thing. So that might have been my favorite thing from last night, was seeing his confidence in that pitch in every situation.
You know, another thing I noticed, Kevin, it seems like Carlos has always been kind of a background guy during games, even during the season. I know he's fun. He does the splash of the water, but those spots are always kind of taken for an Adam Wainwright or a Matt Holliday. I thought his presence last night, even late in that game, after he was taken out of the game, his presence on the top of that dugout. I know this is getting way heavy here, but I feel like there is a confidence in him, is where I'm going here, that he didn't have and maybe hasn't had so far, that all of a sudden you're the opening day starter. This is your team. This is your rotation. Go take it. And I felt like there was a presence there last night.
I completely agree with you. And I think that what we're looking at is a guy that's kind of grown up.
Yes.
He's a little bit more mature now. He's in a position where, he's been, this is his 3rd full year as a starter. So you've got a lot more games under your belt. And actually, not only is it 3rd year as a starter, but this is his 5th year in the majors.
Wow.
Or at least 5th year spending time in the majors, which is, maybe a slight difference, but still an important point. And, with experience and the success that he had last year, obviously comes comfort. And with that comfort comes another level of production, another, the ability, forget the willingness, the ability to, go to any pitch at any time.
Yep.
The confidence to say whatever Yachty puts down is what I'm going to execute. And I don't think there's anything incorrect about what you said, and I don't think we can overstate how important that mental side is for him.
Agree.
Kevin Wheeler, 101 ESPN. Why is Yachty Molina worth $60 million over 3 years for this Cardinals team?
So many reasons for this. Number one, they have the money, so they're not. It's not like this puts them in a position where they can't do other things. So I think if you put that first and foremost, like put that first.
Okay.
This is like a billionaire buying a new sports car. It's not going to dent his retirement fund. You know, I mean, forget a billionaire. Take Carlos Martinez with his new $50 million contract. If he goes and buys a $3 million house, he can afford it. Who cares? Maybe it's too much. Maybe he doesn't need it. Maybe there's a lot of maintenance that goes with it. But he's got it. He's covered. It's not going to hurt him. This is not a risk at all for the Cardinals. And then you list down the things that you can obviously count on, which is top 10 defense, throwing runners out. I don't think you can even measure the impact that he has on the pitchers when he's out there. This is a difficult game. You guys know that. I mean, all sports are difficult, and it almost all comes down to like calm and confidence. I mean, it's mental. I mean, how many of these guys have amazing arms but can't pitch in the big leagues or can't pitch consistently?
Correct.
That mental, that calm that he brings to no matter what the age of the pitcher is, allows that pitcher to be his best. The knowledge, the preparation pregame, knowing the hitters the way that he knows them. These things are incredible assets. And you talk about what they have coming, like Alex Reyes coming off Tommy John next year, Sandy Alcantara, another 100-mile-an-hour guy, Dakota Hudson. I mean, they got all these young pitching prospects. Who better to get the most out of them over the next 3 or 4 years? And who better, by the way, to tutor Carson Kelly if Carson Kelly is not going to be traded, if he's going to be kept in the organization? Who better to teach him the ropes over the next 3 years? I don't see a downside, not to mention the fact that he just had a great year at the plate last year. He just come off the World Baseball Classic where he was probably the best player in the tournament. I mean, I just don't see any downside. I think all good.
I've told Kevin Wheeler over and over he ought to do a radio show. I mean, he really has some good thoughts.
I've been told that before by other people, too. It's weird.
You really have good thoughts, Kevin. You should put them out there for the public. All right, I know you're going to like this because you alluded to it earlier. Stephen Piscotty wraps up a new deal for him. 6 years, I forget now, it's 33 and a half. I know you love the contract, it sounds like. So your thoughts on that? And what's his ceiling? How good can Piscotty be?
I think he can be pretty damn good. I mean, we saw last year in his first full season, 800 OPS, a high number of RBIs. I guess, as I mentioned, the high batting average with runners in scoring position. Batting average itself is not the greatest, but getting hits with runners in scoring position is kind of important. I think you guys probably agree with that, right? Yeah. I think most people in baseball would kind of agree with that. It's an important element to the game. So when I know that a guy is smart, I mean, this is a person that, has the kind of college degree that is followed by, usually it's followed by graduate school and doctors and things along those lines. I think that we're talking about a smart guy with a great work ethic, who you can trust. So downside for the team, and I said this on the show earlier today. Yes, I do have a show, by the way. The even if he's a backup at the end of this deal, and there's no reason to think he will be, none. If he's a fourth outfielder in the year 2021, 2022, and he's making $7.5 million, that's not going to be far off what fourth outfielders make 6 years down the road.
That's a great point.
So there's really no risk at all for the team, and I'm a little surprised that he would be okay with this, but he seems to like the idea of stability more than maxing out his earning potential, which is fine. I mean, God almighty, he's a smart guy. Who am I to tell him he's wrong?
Yeah, that's not a bad start to your career.
He'll just start a side business and make even more money.
The White Sox have been doing that for years.
You guys like to be like 25, 26 and know that you've got $35 million coming.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Not bad. Kevin, every once in a while, Lon makes some interesting points. Today he brought up that last year was a transition year for this roster and going into this offseason, obviously. Then you locked up Fowler in center field. You lock in Yadi Molina. Do we kind of know what the Cardinals are? Do they have their core together for the next 3-4 year run? Obviously, you can always make changes, but it feels like there's some stability to this roster now.
Well, let's look at this. So you've got long-term control over your shortstop, who is obviously fantastic. I mean, he may never be a Gold Glove guy, but I think there's a pretty good chance that he's going to be someone who can, at the very bare minimum, at the very least, be, somebody you can count on,
serviceable,
and at least play an infield position, right? Maybe he's not Gold Glove shortstop, but he's going to play the infield, and he's going to be an asset for at least the next 3. I think they have 3 more years of control on him after this year. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the next guy that gets that kind of control. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's the next guy that they end up locking up. But then I look at Carlos Martinez, and I look at Alex Reyes. You mentioned Yachty, Stephen Piscotty. Oh, that rhymes. That's kind of good.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, Dexter Fowler's here for the next 4 years. You control Grichuk for that long if you want. I mean, if you decide he's worth keeping around after this year, I mean, you control him. You've got Matt Carpenter signed up for another 3 years, I think. I mean, I think you're right. I think we do know the general identity of this team. What we don't know right now would be maybe who's going to close next year because O's a free agent. But I think that there's mutual interest in him coming back. We know that the one thing this team is probably missing is kind of a rock star middle of the order bat.
Yes.
And I'm not sure, like a cleanup guy would be great on this team. If everybody can dream about Evan Longoria, for example. Like, that's still possible. We don't know if that's coming down the line, or maybe they're going to wait and see if they can get in the bidding on Manny Machado. But yeah, I mean, we know what this team is right now, and we know at least on most of it. But here's the interesting part, though, guys. For the rotation, 2 years down the road, the only guys on the team right now that we know are in that are Carlos Martinez, Mike Leake, and Michael Wacha. Reyes will be, right? I mean, 2 years from now, Reyes will be healthy. He'll be in there. Maybe it's Sandy Alcantara. Maybe it's one of the other kids. Maybe they trade for Quintana, and that helps cover some of the gap in the bridge in between there because Lord knows somebody else is probably going to have an arm injury. So there's some play, but I would agree with you guys. I think we know most of what this team's going to be for the next 3 to 4 years.
Final one, because I like to incorporate Jeremy's White Sox here. You just mentioned Quintana. We had kind of a trade offer on the table.
I don't see it happening.
Here in the Tay and J Show, and it started with Carson Kelly. I can't remember who else it included. Harrison Bader.
Yeah, Weaver and another guy.
Weaver. What would it take, you think? What would the Cardinals be willing to give up for a guy like Jose Quintana? And do you see them even being players in something like that?
Well, I mean, they have to be at least in the consideration. I mean, the fact that guys like John Heyman, who's a great reporter and who has unbelievable sources, if he keeps mentioning the Cardinals as a possibility there, who else just did this recently? Somebody else just within the last couple of days listed the Cardinals as a possible contender for Quintana too. But if it keeps coming up, it's probably that they have some legitimate interest. I think it was a week ago that I wrote about that very topic on our website.
That's right.
At 101sports.com. And here's the basic theme. Be prepared to not want to make the trade. Right. It's going to take more than Cardinals and Cardinals fans are going to want to give up.
Got it.
So the key points that I put together, and Jeremy, you tell me if you think I've got this wrong. But the primary areas that the White Sox are probably going to need to cover within these next couple of years, because they've loaded up, man. They're loaded with pitching at the top levels from all the trades they've made. Yoan Moncada is going to be, their next kind of franchise player on the offensive side, but they're pretty thin moving forward in the outfield. They're pretty thin at third, unless Moncada is going to play there, and then they'd be thin at second. And they don't really have a long-term catcher. They have a long-term hitter who's a catcher in Zach Collins, but I think my fellow Miami Hurricane is more of a first base DH type than a catcher long-term. But I think that if you can fit these areas of need, and by the way, more pitching, because nobody's ever going to turn down more pitching.
No.
I think you're talking about looking at the Cardinals' top 10 and probably giving up 4 of those guys, minimum.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
We're talking. If you start with Kelly, you're probably looking at Kelly and a Sandy Alcantara type guy. Like if I'm the White Sox, I don't want the 23 or 24-year-old guy like Weaver, because I got a lot of those guys. I want the 19 or 20-year-old guy who can fill in behind those guys when they start to get expensive or get hurt. And I think Magneuris Sierra would probably be very popular, either him or Bader, because they're very high-end outfielders. And then you're going to look at another top-end guy, whether it's an Eliezer Alvarez, who's a second baseman, and I think was named a top 10 second baseman by MLB.com. Maybe it's Paul DeYoung at AAA as a guy that can step in at third. And maybe it's just another one of your big-time guys. Maybe they ask for Delvin Perez. I mean, I think if I'm the White Sox, I'm going big.
Right.
Because I'm going to have at least 6 or 8 teams that are interested. And by the way, I think their crosstown rival, the Cubs, might be interested in Quintana here later in the year, too.
I keep saying that, too.
Yeah.
And the Yankees.
Jeremy said it 100 times.
I think the Yankees are going to be a little bit better than they think. And, he makes a lot of sense for them, too.
It totally does. Well, Kevin Wheeler, I know you're just kind of plopped back watching baseball all day, so we appreciate you taking some time, my friend.
Glad to do it, man. I got the TV on. I got the iPad rolling with another game on MLB.TV. So, yeah, I'm pretty much as happy as I can be at this point.
He's happy as
back.
I love it.
Back.
Kevin Wheeler, it's always
happy
awesome.
as a pig and something I can't say on the radio.
Right, we'll move on from there. Kevin, thanks so much, buddy.
All right, fellas. Talk to you later.
Good stuff, man. Kevin Wheeler, 101 ESPN. Guy just brings it.
I mean, he's probably got a better price than I even have on it.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need 4 of their top 10 guys.
Yes.
For Kentucky.
That's probably true. And to think that you'd have, again, I always come down to this.
Like, I think with some of the guys we mentioned, Dakota Hudson's in that range. I said as a 4th guy, but I mean, it's got to start with Kelly and either Bader and Sierra and either, another top guy like Weaver and then another one too. So
if you're going to win in the playoffs, you got to have 1, 2, or 3 some studs at the taking the mound every night. Cleveland somehow did it with injuries and almost won a World Series
because they had one of the better bullpens.
Yes, they did, and they had to kind of think how to do this. But if you look at that and you look at a guy like Waino, he's getting older. If you could go Carlos Quintana or Quintana Carlos and then maybe a Waino or a Lynn.
Oh, Carlos has a higher ceiling.
Yes, yeah. Then that gives you the chance when you get to the playoffs to win games.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk with new Illini commit, the first in the class of 2018 for football.
Karan.
Peoria quarterback Karan Taylor. You got it right. See?
Okay, let's see if I can do this. You're right.
We'll talk to him about why Illinois, why now. I also want to get a scouting report on Kendrick Green.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
His teammate who's coming to Illinois this year.
Can't wait to visit with the new commit. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
Lexi Thompson was cruising to what looked like it was going to be an easy victory. She replaces the ball something in the neighborhood of a half an inch away from where it had been. Mm-hmm. This is a putt she is going to make 100 out of 100 times.
Absolute tap-in.
A viewer seeing this sent in an email, and she's on the back 9 of the final round now. The day after this happened, they walk out and tell her that she has been assessed a 2-stroke penalty for that, and then another 2 strokes for signing an incorrect scorecard.
This is an absolute friggin' joke that you let people at home dictate your sport. It's an embarrassment, and you know what? It can be stopped immediately. It is an absolute positive joke that they allow viewers to dictate what goes on in that course. I hate it.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
Got a paint project you haven't started? Now's the time to begin. The Home Depot has Behr Premium Plus interior paint starting at just $23.97. It's a paint and primer in one, so you're not covering the same wall over and over. You paint it, then move on to the next one. We're pouring more into paint with unbeatable prices on Behr Premium Plus interior paint, now starting at just $23.97. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only, see store for details.
First time skydiving?
Sure is.
Okay, you just open the door like this and you jump.
Oh, wait. Should we be like in tandem?
Tandem? That's a great idea.
Are you a certified instructor?
No, but I love parachutes and I love people. Here we go.
You wouldn't take chances with an uncertified skydiving instructor. Don't do it with your finances. Find a certified financial planner professional today at letsmakeaplan.org. CFP. Work with the highest standard.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Make a difference in Champaign County. Join the Champaign County Sheriff's Office. Apply by April 21st. Applicants must be 21, have a high school diploma, and possess a valid driver's license. Apply to become a Champaign County Deputy Sheriff. Here's what Sergeant Bolt and Deputy Donovan have to say about their job.
Every day's going to be different.
I enjoy the variety. We can go from Ludlow all the way down to Pasodum, and we're handling a wide variety of different things, crimes and accidents. I enjoy interacting with people and interacting with the public, and as a police officer, even an opportunity to, from time to time, make an impact on somebody's life in a positive way.
I think anybody that is up to dealing with things that are tough to deal with, emotionally and physically, it can be a very difficult job. At the sheriff's office, we've got an awesome group of people that work together, and, we're all very close, and, I know that everybody there always has each other's back.
Apply by April 21st. Go to espncu.com and click on the sheriff's logo.
The Champaign County Sheriff's Office is an equal opportunity affirmative action ADA employer. Females and minorities are encouraged to apply.
Need new tires? How would you like to save $200 on a set of 4 select Goodyear tires? Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get up to $200 in savings when you purchase a set of 4 Goodyear tires and use the CarX Drive Card credit card. Your Champaign CarX man has the right tires for your vehicle at any of his 3 convenient locations. And now up to $200 off. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
See store for details.
Life is full of twists and turns. You can't see the unknown, but you can certainly prepare for it. Pekin Life Insurance Company offers a variety of term and whole life insurance policies that are designed to meet the needs of individuals and their families. Options include transitional life, universal life, preferred whole life, family term life, and many others. Visit PekinInsurance.com or ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about an affordable, beyond the expected life insurance policy that's right for you.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
4:30, I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update. The White Sox trying to get their opening day game in, but rain has delayed that against the Detroit Tigers. For the game, Carlos Rodon, it was announced, will be sidelined 5 to 6 weeks with bursitis in his left biceps. After their walk-off win last night against the Cubs, the Cardinals continued their extension frenzy, signing Stephen Piscotty to a 6-year extension that will pay him a guaranteed $33.5 million. Tomorrow night, the series resumes with Jake Arrieta against Adam Wainwright. The Golden State Warriors have targeted Saturday night's home game against New Orleans as the return date for Kevin Durant. Gonzaga goes for its first ever national championship tonight, while North Carolina looks to become just the 3rd program to win 6 national titles in their history. It's an 8:20 tip-off on CBS. Illinois baseball swept Indiana State over the weekend to improve their record to 9-16 overall. Illini pitcher Ty Weber was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week after throwing a complete game on Saturday. Illinois softball took 1 of 3 from number 6 Minnesota over the weekend. And Dylan Meyer won the individual title at the 3M Augusta Invitational, leading the Illini to a 4th-place team finish. Illinois football landed its first commitment in the class of 2018 this morning. 3-star quarterback Karan Taylor gave his verbal commitment to the Illini. Scout.com ranks the state champion top quarterback in the state and number 29 quarterback in the country. As a junior, Taylor ran for 1,671 rushing yards, 22 touchdowns, passed for 1,542 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Kind of bittersweet day for the Illini, though, as top safety target Greg Newsom from Glenbard North committed to rival Northwestern. The Wildcats are hot. They have 5 in-state commitments, 9 overall. Class currently ranks number 12 in the country, according to Scout.com.
Fitzy getting some work done up there, huh?
It is.
All right, it is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner. We've talked a lot about St. Louis, their big win last night over the Cubbies. They do not play again tonight. They always take that day off after opening day in case of rain.
A lot of work.
A lot of work. No doubt, man. So they will play again tomorrow, and then Wednesday you'll hear, of course, those games, the Cardinal broadcast right here on ESPN 93.5, and our sister station carries the Cubs broadcast. That's US 105.9.
He's Lon Tay. I'm Jeremy Warner. We also discussed some big news for Illinois football this morning as they got their first commitment in the class of 2018, and he joins us now on the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line. He's Karan Taylor, Peoria quarterback and new Illini commit. Karan, congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So why Illinois and why now, Karan?
It's close to home. I love the academics and the coaches and the facilities. And now is because if I wait too long, then I probably won't have the opportunity later.
What's it mean for you to be the first guy in this class?
You said what to mean to me to be the first guy in the class?
Yeah.
It means a lot, especially at the quarterback position, so I can start building around. So start recruiting myself to get some receivers and some running backs and things like that to try to commit as well.
Jeremy just threw out all your stats, and they're gaudy with regards to running and passing. Kind of describe for us and for our Illini fan listeners, kind of describe your game as a quarterback. What are your strengths you feel, and what are some things you need to work on like your senior year in high school?
I am labeled as a dual threat, so I can run and throw. And some things that I need to work on in high school right now are like being in the pocket and being able to move in the pocket and reading defenses and coverages.
I know Illinois
so I can be ready.
Yeah, I know Illinois offered you pretty early, Karan, compared to everyone else. You had 3 offers at the end of this thing. What was this recruitment like for you? What did you like? What did you not like?
I liked the attention, but I didn't like how slow it was and how everything does not go how you want it to, and how it's put out on the media, and there's nothing like that.
What do you mean by that?
People be so happy, but it's really nothing to be happy about unless you find a place that you like.
Yeah. What did Lovey and this staff sell you that you felt Illinois was the right place? What did you like about this staff and this program?
We always shared laughs together when I went up there or whenever I called them. And it was just real cool, so something I can relate to.
Visiting with Karan Taylor, Peoria QB. He is the first Illini commit of the 2018 class. Were you able to talk with Garrick McGee, I assume, and kind of get his idea? I know he's a guy that likes your style, the run and pass. Do you like what he kind of threw out for you in terms of the future?
Yeah, he's excited. I just got done speaking with him. He said he's going to send me a list of receivers to get to commit, so we're ready.
I like that idea.
Yeah, Karan, I know you've also talked a lot with Nathan Shieldhouse, Cam Thomas. I mean, Nate's been through here before. I mean, he was one of the better quarterbacks Illinois has had in a while. What have you taken from him, and do you take anything away from his game? Do you remember watching him growing up?
When I go up there, he's the one that I'm with the most, so he shows me around, and he shows me the plays and all the coverages and protections and stuff that I have to do. So when I go up there and watch a practice or something like that, then I'm in his pocket and he's in my ear. So we're just talking back and forth.
What's he tell you about playing quarterback at Illinois?
He said, I won't regret it, and it's just going to be fun and take advantage of it.
So you have a teammate here as well. Illinois likes that Peoria pipeline thing. Kendrick Green's coming here. You've seen him play just as much as anybody else. So give us a scouting report on Kendrick Green, Peoria.
Kendrick Green, that guy is tough, but he's a big kid, man. He's he plays around like he's 3 years old, and he's really big, and I don't think he knows that he's really big, and he's exciting, and just when you watch him play, you know that he's a good player. So,
is he a better offensive lineman for you, blocking for you, or is he a better defensive tackle? Because obviously he's going to play defensive tackle here.
Yes.
Of course, I want him on the offensive side of the ball, but he's really good at both. So he could have went either way.
Karan, I know you just got your state championship ring not too long ago. How often do you wear that, and when do you bring out the state championship ring?
Friday nights.
I wore it the day we got it, and then I wore it up to church, and then I wore it up to Champaign on a visit. Then I haven't wore it since, so I'm putting it in the case.
Yeah, make sure mom and dad, right, take care of that thing. Make sure that thing doesn't get lost. Exactly. It's kind of funny to me, Karan, that we think of, through the years, Illinois fans think of Peoria as the basketball pipeline, but you guys, you and Kendrick, I mean, and some others, I mean, it sounds like Peoria's got some good football teams over there as well. Do you see that as more of your little area becoming a bigger hotbed for football?
Oh, I hope so. I hope the younger guys start to open their eyes and realize that you guys got to work hard, and it just can be a dream come true. We can switch it around, so it'll be football and basketball too. So we could keep it on both sides.
Absolutely.
With Devontae Williams committing, so he'll be there next year, and I know the freshman Adam Miller from Manual has an offer from Illinois, so hopefully he makes his decision. Illinois is his decision, so
Sounds like Brad Underwood will be getting in touch with you as well. Coach Underwood might get in touch with you to recruit basketball too.
Karan, can you play hoops?
Yeah, I play it for exercise. I played it when I was younger. I didn't play on the team because I was focused on football too much.
What do you bring to the court when you're out there? What kind of describe your game?
Just that shot. I don't like to hold defense, but I can shoot the heck out of the ball, though.
Sounds like a quarterback.
I love the honesty. I don't want to play any defense.
Is there a quarterback you watch a lot, Karan? Is there a favorite NFL or college guy you like to watch?
You already know I got to go with my boy Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton. They're my two. That's my two right there.
What do you take from Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, what do you take from Aaron Rodgers? Because I think he's probably the most talented to ever do it.
Dude, this guy is crazy. In the pocket and out of the pocket, he's just scary, and I take a lot from him. He doesn't like to come up with an incompletion, so do I. So I just take a lot of my game from him.
You know, it's funny,
Karan,
Karan,
he plays the game.
When you look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers, like you said, he can escape that pocket, get out of the pocket, and throw. What is that?
He's scary.
Yeah, he is scary, no doubt. What has that maturation process been for you with regards to getting out of the pocket and then understanding, okay, now is when I need to run, or now is when I still need to look downfield? How is that developing for you?
It takes time. So, working on it in practice, when I get rushed out of the pocket, just being calm. You got to be calm, be patient, and just waiting for things to open up downfield. And if they don't, then take it and go.
I love it. Have you seen
just practice?
Have you seen some of these big dudes that Lovey's recruiting on the offensive line? You're going to have some big guys in front of you.
Man, these guys are meat. It's all meat.
So as a recruiter now,
yes,
who are the first people you call, Karan?
The first people I called this morning when I told them that I wanted to commit, I called Coach Luke Buckus, and then Coach Smith, and then Coach Fair. Yeah, I talked to Coach McGee recently. They're all fired up.
What do you think of Lovey?
Oh man, this guy is very soft spoken, down to earth, and he's genuine. You can feel it when you go around him. And when he talks, everyone sits down and listens.
Yeah. So which other recruits do you call now?
I want to get Deli from St. Louis. Deli, the linebacker, I want to get him.
I love it.
And then I have to look into some more.
I'll have to look into
the staff's going to put you to work.
Exactly. Who was more excited, you to meet Lovey or your parents?
My grandma, of course, she's a Bears fan. I don't know why, but I just want to meet Lovey Smith, man. I'm like, okay, Grandma, I'm gonna have to bring you up there. So I brought her up there, and she was just amazed. And
I love it.
She enjoyed herself.
I love hearing these stories because so many of guys my age, that have kids your age, we're more excited, I think, to meet Lovey than the kids are, which is so funny. Well, Karan Taylor, congratulations, buddy! First commit of the 2018 class. Yeah, congrats, and we'll see you on campus soon.
All right, thanks.
Thanks,
job,
buddy.
Karan.
Great job. Yeah, great job. Seems like a really likable, fun kid.
He's got a personality that people are drawn to.
Yes.
And people have brought up, is he Ricky Smalling? Ricky's one of the most effervescent personalities you'll ever be around.
That. I can't wait to talk to him.
I mean, in the media, he's not as much, actually. He's a little bit more down. He doesn't show as many people, but when he's around people, he's a joker. He's
cool.
kind of that kind of personality. Karan's got this seriousness to him that he wants to be great.
That's awesome.
And he puts in not that Ricky doesn't,
right?
But he's kind of got that seriousness to him, and but people think he's a winner. He's got all those kinds of intangibles. So I think Illinois got a pretty good one here.
I know our buddy Jim Matson that covers high school over in Peoria and does maybe the best job of any local sportscaster I've ever seen on TV.
Talked to Jim this morning.
Oh, did you? I know he is really high on this.
He told me in the middle of the fall. Because I watched him a couple games of his, and his high school coach, Tim Thornton, said, we kind of had the reins on him during the season because he was our only quarterback.
Yeah,
and we can't have him get hurt.
No.
But he goes, we took the reins off in the postseason, and he just exploded. And that's when everyone started to take notice. But Jim Matson told me midseason, Jeremy, I think there's a Big Ten quarterback.
Really?
And he goes, I think Illinois needs to get on this. And, they were the first one to offer after the state championship game.
I love it that he's going to go recruit now. Yeah. I love it, man.
I mean, that's important to get some momentum. That's what Northwestern has now.
Yes.
Illinois needs to get this thing going a little bit. It's not time to completely panic.
Right.
But they've had some tough losses in this state, including Greg Newsom today, Luke Ford. I mean, these SEC programs come along, it's going to be hard to win those when you're going 3-9 in your first year. And they're not going to be a lot better this year.
Nope.
But losing Greg Newsom in state, a kid you've had for multiple visits, that one hurts. So you got to move on and find some other prospects. But Illinois didn't get their first commit in Ricky Smalling until April 25th last year.
I was going to ask you that.
So this one's a little bit earlier than that, but they've had time.
Okay.
So like we've talked about before, not as many scholarships in this class, but you did get the start. It's important to get that quarterback early.
Yes.
Because they are usually leaders. They are usually kind of guys who can go out and recruit and that you can sell to other recruits.
And that's important, man.
Yeah.
That is so important, more than we think. So good stuff with Karan Taylor, Peoria quarterback, new Illini commit. Just think of all the Illini fans now over in Peoria. They're going to love watching him play this year when he goes and visits different schools. You'll be able to say, all right, there's the kid that's going to Illinois, and I'm sure that's something that...
and they'll probably be around here a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Because they play the Champaign schools, Urbana, Danville.
Didn't even think about that.
So I haven't seen the schedule. I don't think is out yet.
Okay.
But I plan on getting to see them a couple times because they got some other players, too. Marcus Cox is a big offensive lineman, probably 6'5", 290. But he tore his ACL.
Okay.
So he's probably going to need to play a little bit this year to kind of prove that. And then Geno Hess, this little running back, put up monstrous numbers this past year. He might be like an FCS MAC level guy, but he's really good too.
Kind of remind you of Kendrick a little bit? I mean, Kendrick's not a big running back.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to show some speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Kendrick was thicker, I think, than Geno was.
Very, very. I agree. Well, maybe Peoria, maybe we'll get them on the high school then, football, here on ESPN 93.5.
It is important that it's just like when basketball. When there's downstate talent.
Oh, you got to get them.
Especially Central Illinois-ish, you got to get those.
And there's been some kids from Peoria. Didn't they have the two offensive linemen that went up to Michigan?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's been, we think of Peoria as basketball, but there's obviously some football talent over there.
Gabe Meganson shows himself up in Jacksonville and is a 4-star prospect. Like, that's Beckman's greatest get, right? I mean, you got to get those kind of kids.
And he's goofy.
Yes,
he's just downright goofy, and I love it, man.
He's going to be pretty good in a year or two.
Yes, he is. I can't wait to see him take off. All right, good stuff. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line or the Chief Bauer text line. It is the Tay and J Show.
Our Champaign County nursing home failed a recent public health inspection. They've been fined for inadequate care. Medicare has dropped them to a 1-star rating, and over 80 beds are empty. Seniors in our community deserve better. We've given the politicians who run the home over $37 million and now have the worst-run nursing home in the county. Now they want more money but refuse to make changes. We need to take the nursing home out of the hands of politicians and put it in the hands of a responsible organization that knows how to manage care for seniors. Opponents of a sale are spreading falsehoods. If the nursing home is sold, not only will no one be kicked out, but more seniors will be helped and the quality of life will be improved for all. It's time to stop the political games and bring in professional management. On April 4th, vote no on the property tax hike and vote yes to sell the nursing home to someone who will give our seniors care they deserve. This is paid for by Save CCNH. Vote to sell.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals, a nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
Spring has sprung, and for 25 years, Prairie View Landscaping has been the premier locally owned and operated lawn care provider in Central Illinois. Prairie View Landscaping is a full-service company, a one-stop shop for all your lawn care and outdoor needs. So email Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping today at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Prairie View Landscaping, celebrating 25 years in business. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh live in concert Sunday, April 16th, right here in Champaign. Listen to the Tay and J Show now through the 16th for your chance to text and win at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It's Daniel Tosh live. Get more info on the show at espncu.com.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days. Mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you're heading home, Tay and Jay are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Is there anything worse than opening day and your team gets rained out?
I mean, it's the White Sox. So.
I know, but you're still so excited, you know.
We have all these issues of attendance. Watch, they'll reschedule for tomorrow, and there'll be 14,000 there.
14 grand.
Everyone took off work today.
My mom got mad the other day. Like she just calls me out of the blue, and she's like, I don't understand why baseball starts and then they immediately get a day off. Like, that's how she presented it. And I'm like, Mom, it's not like they're not giving the guys a day off. They do that because opening day is such a grand thing. Yeah. They want to make sure in case it rains. Oh, well, I guess that makes sense.
Can we do a quick next question?
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, I got some questions.
Johnny Gross still under contract.
Next question.
Yes, he is. All right, so let me cue up a little F-ball if I could find it. It would be so easy to be able to... Oh! I got it.
All right, Juan.
Patrick Ewing was named the Georgetown coach. Will it work?
I think this is interesting.
I do too.
If you're an alumni and you want to be the head coach of your alma mater, look at Patrick Ewing. Spent 15 years as an NBA assistant.
Are you maybe throwing out a message?
Just telling people, whether it's Doug Gottlieb or Illinois coach, like former alumni.
Patrick Ewing has
a lot of people
done the work.
A lot of people wonder why he hasn't been an NBA head coach yet.
Interesting.
But I think it's an inspired hire. I think if you're going to change from John Thompson and keep it in-house and please Papa Bear John Thompson,
no doubt.
I think this one makes a lot of sense. I don't know if it'll work.
Okay.
But I think he's a good coach. I think he's just got to hire some dang good assistants to recruit that D.C. area, which is usually loaded with talent.
This is a Lovie Smith effect, where every recruit, their parents are going to be like, Patrick Ewing's coming to our house?
Well, and you can sell you're an NBA Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. That's important. So, no, I like it. I think it's going to work. I mean, it's going to take time, but I think eventually it will work for Patrick Ewing.
Next question.
Juan, which team will be remembered more? The Mississippi State women for beating UConn and ending their 111-game win streak, or South Carolina for winning the title over Mississippi State?
It's not even close, right? It's Mississippi State. Can you believe that? Yeah. Can you believe that?
How about the Mississippi State coach benching that player who hit the game winner for the last 10 minutes of that game?
It's unbelievable.
Would you do that if you were a coach?
No, not in the national championship game. I'm sorry, kids. You can do it.
If they have a bad attitude?
Yeah, that or if you come in at 4 a.m., I don't care. I'll bench you after the season.
I'll suspend you for the next 5 games to start the regular season.
I want to win the national title, but can you believe that, though? That's unbelievable. You know me, and I get on this issue about I think UConn women have hurt the game of basketball, but the victory that Mississippi State had over them the other night, that led all sports centers the next day.
Yep.
It's all anybody could talk about. Yep. So in that sense, it's good. If UConn would have beaten Mississippi State, not one person around this area would have cared.
And the ratings were phenomenal.
Right.
They outrated the Cubs Cardinals.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. That's good stuff there.
Game.
Next question.
All right, Juan. Controversy on the LPGA Tour.
This.
How about this? Women's basketball on the LPGA Tour.
Dominating the weekend.
Are dominating SportsCenter. A television viewer's email had alerted officials to a day-old rule violation by Lexi Thompson for a 1-inch ball placement error. They didn't tell her until Sunday's 13th hole. Her 3-shot lead had just been wiped out by a 4-shot penalty. Should they be able to do this? Should they be able to go a day and a half later from a viewer email or a call and change the round?
I get it, and I know there's golfers out there that listen to our show, and I get it. Golfers, and I'm one of you, we are almost like hockey, where we police ourselves, right? The sport polices itself.
Well, the PGA has like the biggest rule book in the world.
They really do. But it's the only sport that a viewer can email or call in and alert an official.
It feels like
to what
American
happened.
Idol. Like you can just vote Vote in now.
I just think, and in this thing, I give Lexi so much credit. That, I mean, she was crying.
And she bounced back.
She bounced back and almost won this thing. And, of course, it went to sudden death. But she was sitting there crying. She lost it was a 4-stroke lead.
How much money did she lose, I wonder?
No, I didn't even go into that. I don't know. And when you see the highlights, she did it wrong. She placed it wrong. She placed it on the side and then put it back wrong. So then she signed the scorecard. So it's 2 strokes for placing wrong and 2 for signing the wrong scorecard. So, I mean, it's right. But I hate it. I just don't think it. I just don't think it should be.
I can understand doing it between rounds,
right?
But doing it in the middle, of the 13th hole.
I think if a viewer would have sent that in Saturday and said this happened, then Saturday night after that round, they sit down with her and say you're 4 strokes back. But in the middle of your final round,
can you imagine this happening in a baseball game?
No,
or a football game,
or penalizing.
Like a viewer can have that power. Isn't that why you have officials out there?
Yes,
they're the ones who should make that decision.
I totally agree. And yes, it's on Lexi. Before we get the text, yes, it's on her. She needed to realize what she did wrong, and she knows going forward. And it's a good lesson for everyone. But if it wasn't caught that day, and it's obvious that she wasn't trying to do this on purpose, she moved it like 1 milliliter, or if that's not even a word, to the left, but. If a viewer catches it that day, then penalize her going into the final round, not 13 holes into the championship. I mean, that to me was ridiculous.
Next question.
Dylan Meyer won the 3M Augusta Invitational individual title. Golf Week currently ranks Illinois number 7 in the country.
Mike Small, that's why he's on the hot seat.
The NCAA championship's about a month away, Lon. Can the Illini win it this year?
Yes, they can. They've got everything they need. You know they've got Mike Small's grit. You know, mentally, these guys will go into this tournament. And you know what they've got, Jeremy, that a lot of programs have earned over the years and they have now? They've got that intimidation factor.
Yeah.
That when you show up to play a regional or in the finals and you're facing Illinois, you're intimidated by that.
They have 2 really good golfers, great golfers, and Dylan Meyer, who's got a 70 average. Nick Hardy is 71. I mean, those guys can win you around whenever.
Yep.
Michael Fiegels, the freshman's been great. Under 72 average. But the guy who struggled has been Brian Baumgarten, the other freshman from California, averaging about a 76. So he hasn't been as good as they thought he'd be early.
Okay.
Lipparelli is solid, but I think you'd rather have him as your 5 guy. They need one more guy to step up. And recently it's been Giovanni Tadiotto, another freshman, who's shooting about a 74.5.
Wow.
So that's their weakness. They have 4 golfers that I think are really good. It's that 5th guy. They need that 5th guy, and they're going to need Meyer and Hardy to be great.
I agree. But I think, and yes, it seems like next year would be the year because Hardy and Meyer will be seniors and Fiegels and Baumgartner will be sophomores. But I think they've got enough to do it. And let's don't forget, Jeremy, that this thing is in the state of Illinois this year.
At Jarvis Farm.
It's not exactly like Oregon had it in their backyard, albeit, but there are going to be a lot of Illini faithful up there watching this. So I think it's going to be fun, and I really, really feel like this is the year for Mike Small. I hope.
The next hour, we'll start with Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW Champaign. Then we'll talk some Final Four with Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst. And then we'll wrap up with Crosstalk with the 200 level.
Did Harrington win our Big Ten tournament?
I think so.
I think he did,
I never even looked at it.
We won't even bring it up to him.
No.
And
Don't give
then,
him credit for it.
Yeah. Next year at this time, he'll be like, I think I won last year. We'll be like, we can't prove it. All right, it's the Tay and J Show.
Daniel Tosh is going back to school. Tosh Point Show on campus.
Well, hello there, young people. You are our future. But more importantly, you are my future. So buy tickets to the Tosh Point show on campus. You've already wasted your parents' money on tuition. What's a few more bucks for tickets? I promise it will be worth it. Maybe.
April 16th at State Farm Center in Champaign. Tickets are on sale now at statefarmcenter.com or the venue box office.
Some of us came to Urbana to get an education, and we discovered our lives here. Some of us were born and raised in this community and found our livelihood. Urbana is home. We love what it offers. Wonderful schools, beautiful parks, and welcoming neighborhoods. But Urbana is facing some challenges. We're lagging in growth. Some neighborhoods are plagued by crime and rental properties that are crumbling. And city government hasn't had professional administration in 10 years. That's why I'm excited to vote for Diane Marlin for mayor. Diane will make Urbana a better place to learn, live, work, and raise a family.
I'm positively for Urbana. I'm for more effective, responsive, and inclusive city government. I'm for careful planning and smart growth. Our greatest strength lies in the people who care about our community. Neighbors, city employees, business owners, and students. Everyone must work together to move Urbana forward. I'm Diane Marlin, and I would be honored to have your vote for mayor April 4th.
Vote Diane Marlin for mayor of Urbana, April 4th. Paid for by Citizens for Marlin.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack when you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price? And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1126 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1126 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That's harrys.com, code 1126.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pam Puso. You can expect lots of debate and lots of drama leading up to the full Senate vote of Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch. Fox's Melanie Wilkes live in Washington.
Pam, Republicans say they will deploy the so-called nuclear option to move the Gorsuch nomination along with a simple majority instead of the 60 votes needed to break the filibuster that Democrats are threatening. It's a drastic change in tradition. Republican Lindsey Graham.
I'm going to vote to change the rules because I'm not going to be part of a Senate where Democrats get their judges and a Republican can never get theirs.
Democrat Dick Durbin says the GOP strategy will damage the Senate.
I just hope at the end of the day we can resurrect what this institution was all about and should still be all about.
The full Senate is scheduled to begin debate on Gorsuch tomorrow. Pam?
Thanks, Melanie. A second arrest in Chicago stemming from a sexual assault last month that was streamed live on Facebook. A 15-year-old boy has turned himself in. It appears a suicide bomber is being blamed for a deadly explosion on a subway train in the Russian city of St. Petersburg. That's according to Russian state media. A second device that did not detonate is being examined.
Russian state media reports it contained more than 2 pounds of explosives and was rigged with shrapnel. Russia says it is tightening security around critical transport areas, and today authorities shut down all 62 of St. Petersburg's train stations.
Fox's Leah Gabriel. Information that leads authorities to a suspected cop killer in Texas could be worth $35,000. That reward being offered hours after Harris County Deputy Constable Clint Greenwood was gunned down as he was arriving for work.
Assistant Chief Deputy Greenwood was well known throughout the law enforcement community. He dedicated and devoted almost 30 years, if not more, of his life to this profession.
Baytown Police Lieutenant Steve Doris, a motive unclear. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get to grassity. Want to mow well in the higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Nasty weather that claimed 4 lives in Louisiana and Mississippi has claimed another in South Carolina. Officials say 1 person was killed when a mobile home flipped. Local officials believe a tornado may have touched down, but the National Weather Service has not confirmed that. The source of a deadly carbon monoxide leak at a Michigan hotel this weekend has been uncovered.
A faulty pool heater is being blamed for that carbon monoxide leak in southern Michigan that left a 13-year-old boy dead.
We couldn't breathe. Our chest, our stomach was hurting.
Lauren Slaughter was among the more than dozen others sickened on Saturday at that indoor pool at the Quality Inn and Suites in Niles.
All I remember is me just passing out in my head.
Demetrius Butler says when he came to,
I was thinking, like, what am I doing here? What happened?
A Niles fire inspector says the pool's heater had an exhaust malfunction causing the leak, and the amount of carbon monoxide in the room was nearly 20 times tolerable levels. Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The greens of a golf course owned by President Trump in Northern Virginia are said to be a bit more colorful. The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office says that on one of the fairways at Trump National Golf Club in Sterling, the word resist was spray painted in red and orange. The Secret Service hasn't confirmed the incident. The president played there yesterday with Senate Republican Rand Paul. If you like wildlife, then you might love a new website dedicated to the bears at Yosemite National Park.
Yosemite's black bear population's been tracked for a couple of years now after the Yosemite Conservancy donated money to buy GPS collars. But now the bears' moves are being put on a website called keepbearswild.org, and you can see little pin drop icons of where they are.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Rangers say a bear's location is delayed so people aren't tempted to track it down in real time. In New York, I'm Pam Puso, Fox News Radio.
Sorry, I made 4 or 5. I haven't done that before.
Then I broke my headphones. Hold on.
You look like you got the old telephone.
I might do that this hour. Just hold it up to my ear.
Operator. Klondike 57281.
And the Cubs about Anthony Rizzo.
Why do people talk like that back in the day? We should talk like that again.
You do it well, though.
Oh, that's Radburn on the mound again today. Starting 2 complete game shutouts already. In today's triple header.
You do that better than anybody I've ever heard. I love it.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts and call them at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, chance of thunderstorms, a low of 50. Overcast on Tuesday, high 59, low of 43. Wednesday, wet with a chance of rain. High 50, low of 35.
Might cancel the quadruple header.
Right now, mostly cloudy, 64 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
I just can't do that. That's awesome. You should go to the White Sox game tomorrow.
Baby's going to need shoes soon. Got to work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That doesn't end either.
It is Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Juan Davies will recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show.
Well, it seems like the St. Louis Cardinals are destined to win the World Series.
162-0.
Yep, done.
Except you got to throw Mike Leake out there sometimes.
That's true. Wait, that's right. I forgot about him. So what a game last night.
It was a fun game. It was fun.
Carlos Martinez was dealing. When you're facing that Cubs lineup that is so potent and you are able to strike out 10 and keep them without scoring for 8 innings, that's unbelievable work by Carlos Martinez. Unbelievable. What was he, 7 1/3, I guess?
And we talked with Kevin Wheeler, and that's what I wanted to ask him, because he's great at breaking down pitchers, and he said he's at another level.
Yep.
Because he did in the World Baseball Classic, too. He's at another level with that changeup. If you add that to his repertoire consistently, this guy has ace stuff. We've known it for a long time, right?
Yep.
Ever since he came up, but it takes time, it takes maturation, and he feels like an ace. And Juan, you mentioned the presence he has. He kind of feels like he's an ace now. So I think this guy's going to have his best season yet. I think he's got electric stuff. Maybe you don't want to throw 99.5 miles an hour all game like he was last night. But he's legit, and his team blew it for him.
Yes.
Matt Carpenter included with the defense, but Randall Grichuk comes through in the clutch.
I couldn't agree more with Kevin Wheeler as well when he talked about the lineup. I get it with Matheny going Peralta 4, but I think Stephen Piscotty, who was unbelievable last year with runners in scoring position, why is he just not your 4 guy? Don't overthink this, Mike. Just don't overthink stuff. Put Yachty 5. As Kevin said, he doesn't strike out. Yachty's turned into a 300 hitter, which is crazy. And last year, second half of the season, he had like 350. So put him 5 and then work from there. But it's telling, and I know the Cubs have the lineup. Don't get me wrong. Cubs are still the best team in baseball. They'll still win this division. They're still the threat to win a World Series. But when you look down at Cardinals lineup and you see Randall Grichuk hitting 8, that's a pretty deep lineup. And, of course, Grichuk comes through last night with 3 RBI, including the game winner with the bases loaded, 2 out in the ninth. Cardinals get it done. But, it's one of those where you just look at, and I told you look at that Cubs lineup, and by the second or third inning, it was already wearing me out. Because the next guy is just as good as the other guy. Then that guy is just as good. And then Contreras is unbelievable. I'm like, this Cubs team, I mean, you've got to have a yeoman-like effort like you saw out of Carlos Martinez to just beat him.
Yep.
And that's going to be the thing, and that's why they're going to roll to a division title.
That's right. Cubs, terrible. Break it up.
Yep,
Trade
they're done.
Chris Bryant.
I totally would.
Baseball's back. I got some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
We've been waiting for some kind of social media activity from this guy.
What?
So Jeremiah Tillman just retweeted something.
Oh.
Remember when he committed?
I remember.
That was well done. I love our show. So remember when he tweeted, he had that big graphic with his arms spread wide, the big wingspan. It was June 11th, I believe, or July 11th, 2016.
Now you're getting all carp on me.
And he said, after a long recruiting process and much thought, I'm blessed to announce that I'm staying home. He just retweeted that.
Oh, yes!
What does it mean? Does it mean he's not going to Illinois anybody
I think so. Somebody out there, somebody is looking at that right now thinking that.
We lost him!
Somebody is like, he's doing a Sean Livingston. He's doing a John Shire.
I think this kid's had fun with it.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, the fact that grown men, including us, every movement this 18-year-old makes on social media, we're analyzing.
I'm not creepy anymore about it. I'm to the point of I want to talk about positive stuff on my radio show.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I'm creepy on these guys on tweets, right? 'Cause I want to see good guys come here and play so I can talk about victories instead of that. So it does sound good, though, that Jeremiah Tillman is retweeting.
I mean, Piper has been all over this.
Yes.
I want to give him a lot of credit with this. He's in with the family. And they've kind of laughed at all of this stuff from the outside.
Good.
That doesn't mean Mizzou hasn't been going after him.
Right.
Or that Mizzou has been putting out stuff that, we're going to get him. We're going to get him. Jamal Walker's here. Piper said all along to have Walker's here, Tillman's here.
I love it.
Be big news. I mean, that'd be huge for Brad Underwood to start with that class.
No doubt.
And, of course, you'd love to add to it with Mark Smith. But Mark is likely to visit Michigan State this weekend, an unofficial visit or an official visit.
Okay.
So that's one of his 2 that he has left. And then the signing period opens up next week.
Okay.
Michigan State's come on late, but so has everybody.
Yes.
And they've come on strong.
Big time.
And Michigan State is loaded next year at every position but the 2.
Yep.
And they
would fit perfectly
Big
in
Ten
that.
championships to sell. They have Denzel Valentine to sell. They have Gary Harris now to sell, who's having a nice NBA, 3rd, 4th year in the NBA. So that is the easy decision. Now, can Brad Underwood come in and win this? I think they still have a chance.
Absolutely.
But when Michigan State came into this, it changed things a little bit. Kentucky's going to visit him on Thursday, so that could change things a little bit. But it's a big time recruitment. The kid has earned that. The kid has earned these opportunities. But now we'll see if Brad Underwood can pull this thing off, sell his vision.
Yes.
I always think that whether it's football, like we're talking about with Luke Ford at Carterville,
no doubt,
it's when you have those kind of options, it's always easier to go with the known than the hope and the program that's trying to rebuild.
And I hope Illinois fans everywhere, if this kid does indeed go elsewhere and not come to the University of Illinois, I hope us as fans appreciate the patience that this family showed Illinois. With everything going on with John Gross, with all the losing that's happened, with the idea that you're not going to make the NCAA tournament, now you got a coaching change. You don't even know who the next coach is. You don't know if Jamal Walker's going to be retained. Think of all that to where they could have easily one day just said, you know what, that's a hot mess in Champaign.
Yep.
Let's just move on from this. Let's just nix them out. We can get them off our tail. Let's go pick somebody else. So whether or not you want to take that as a sign of, man, they are committed to Illinois and eventually he's just going to do it, or at least show them the respect to think they gave you a serious chance when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, with everything that was going wrong at Illinois basically during this recruitment, they gave you a chance, and I'll always appreciate that. And I'm not giving up hope, though.
You sounded like you were.
No, I'm not giving up hope because I still think I still like the idea of Mark Smith.
I think he's going to play in the Big Ten.
Yes. I think, okay, that's fair. That's a good, nice.
Illinois finally
got play basketball.
Illinois football finally got some good news as well. They got their first commitment in the class of 2018, and Karan Taylor, the 2018 quarterback out of Peoria, just had him on the air. He was great.
He was fun.
He was fun on the air. Go back and podcast that at ESPNCU.com. Dual threat quarterback, a winner, won a state championship, blew up this past year as a prospect, strong arm. Now, of course, mechanics with passing and all those things, accuracy is going to need to hone, but he can make the big throws.
Right.
And he's a phenomenal athlete and good runner. Fits exactly what, Garrick McGee wants, and when there's good talent out of Peoria, you got to get it. Illinois State and Miami, Ohio were his only other offers.
I think he was frustrated by that.
He is. He's very frustrated. I talked to him yesterday. He was at the camp up at Hallis Hall at Nike, and he really wanted some other schools to come in. He's like, I feel like I'm one of the best quarterbacks, in the Midwest. And he didn't get that kind of respect.
Not getting shown the love.
At some point, Illinois needed to move on or look at some other options if Karan was not going to do it. So I think they finally just said, Karan, let's get this thing going. Yeah. And Karan's like, hey, I don't want to miss this opportunity. This is where I want to be. Him. So he starts off the class, gives Illinois a little bit of momentum because they have been struggling in state. They just lost Greg Newsom to Northwestern today. They lost Devin O'Rourke to Northwestern, lost Luke Ford, who's a stud. I think the top prospect in the States, to Arkansas.
Right.
So some of the top guys they wanted in state, they haven't been able to get. So this is big to get that going. But they got to get some more momentum here. It's still early. Yeah. I'm not going to freak out about the class.
Right.
But in state, they're not doing as well as even they had hoped.
Okay. And they did so well last year that it's like, hold on, what's the reason for this? Again, these are recruits that other schools have been talking to probably still even a little bit longer than Lovie Smith, and then it'll all catch up next year. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to panic yet either with regards to this. And I asked you, this isn't going to be a very big class, maybe only 15 guys, right? So they're going to maybe take their time, and you even said that Illinois goes kind of slow with regards to sometimes making plays and making offers.
They want to make sure they got these guys. Like these guys are who they want. There's a lot of schools that will just offer everybody and take as many commits as possible to get their ranking up.
Exactly.
They want to make sure they have good players. Okay. Now, there's a downside to that. Maybe you miss on somebody.
Sure.
That's Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
We have Sean Harrington coming up next. We'll talk to him about the national championship game tonight between Gonzaga and North Carolina. Hey, Busey backs our neighbors with a solid promise to reinvest in our communities one project at a time, and this is a really cool one. They're committing to helping students achieve dreams of going to college through the Community Reinvestment Act. It's them providing two $1,000 scholarships, two $1,000 scholarships to support the academic endeavors of low to moderate income students with a desire to continue their higher education. Now, if you'd like to qualify for this scholarship, the applicant must be a resident of the county for the past 3 years, a high school graduate or equivalent, and eligible for admission at a college or university approved by the scholarship committee. You just need to visit the CRA scholarship page on Busey.com and apply before April 30th, 2017. One more time, visit the CRA scholarship page on Busey.com and apply before April 30th, 2017. Busey awarding two $1,000 scholarships. They are a proud partner for Purpose and Progress in the communities they serve. Visit Busey.com or stop by one of their many convenient locations today.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
My TV job took me about 90 minutes south of my home in Charlotte yesterday to Columbia, South Carolina. I was watching the Women's National Championship game amongst Gamecock fans, and it was cool. It was odd a little, though, that the women's title game did not involve UConn. And I was having the conversation with the former coach with whom I was working, Amanda Butler, and a few fans. Is it good for women's college basketball that Connecticut is not in this game? Well, they said it is good for the Gamecocks that UConn isn't in there. Don Staley's team hadn't beaten UConn in a few tries. But is it good for women's basketball? Know what I came up with as an answer? I have no idea if it's good or not. But what was good was being around a different fan base that cared about its women's basketball team, celebrated a national championship for the first time. That was good. But I also realized this. If it weren't for UConn, I probably wouldn't have even gone to Columbia because women's basketball wouldn't register on anybody's radar. And if it weren't for UConn, social media would not have exploded Friday night when little Morgan William of Mississippi State buried him with that overtime jumper. In 60 seconds, what's at stake in tonight's title game?
This is Dean's yard, and Dean's a pretty observant guy, but sneaky crabgrass lurks undetected until it rears its hideous head this summer. However, Dean's not only observant, he's smart. He uses Scott's Turf Builder Holt's Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food in early spring. It protects against crabgrass all season long, while feeding the lawn for a fast green-up, guaranteed. So this spring, Dean can stop crabgrass dead in its crab tracks. This is a Scott's yard. Pick up Scott's Turf Builder Holt's today.
First time skydiving? Sure is. Okay, you just open the door like this and you jump. Oh, wait. Should we be like in tandem? Tandem? That's a great idea. Are you a certified instructor? No, but I love parachutes and I love people. Here we go.
You wouldn't take chances with an uncertified skydiving instructor. Don't do it with your finances. Find a certified financial planner professional today at letsmakeaplan.org. CFP. Work with the highest standard.
Let's say North Carolina wins tonight. A blue blood beats a lesser conference team. All is right then in the world of college basketball. But what if Gonzaga wins tonight? Maybe, just maybe, we need to look at them and college basketball in general a little bit differently. Start paying more attention in the future to them, the Wichita States, the St. Mary's, the great programs in the lesser leagues. And true, we should already do that in this sport, but the reality is this. Until one of those programs is raising that ultimate trophy in the air, while perhaps the bluest of all blue bloods sombers off the court, they'll always be considered Cinderellas, no matter the seed. I've got Gonzaga by 5 tonight. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
Napa know-how.
The Napa Bucket is on sale for $2.99. It's engineered from high-quality plastic, and it comes with a metal handle to make it portable. You're probably thinking, that sounds like any old bucket, but it's not, because regular buckets don't get you 20% off almost anything you put in it. So pick up a Napa Bucket today and get 20% off the parts you need. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Minimum 3 items. Some exclusions apply. Offer good while supplies last.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
5:23. I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update, brought to you by the First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. It was the retweet heard around the Illini world. Jeremiah Tillman just retweeted his original commitment tweet, so he must be going to Missouri. Now, it sounds like the Illinois will be able to keep Jeremiah Tillman, the five-star center, out of East St. Louis. Illinois football landed its first commitment in the class of 2018 this morning. Three-star quarterback Karan Taylor gave his verbal commitment to the Illini. Scout.com ranks the state champion, the top quarterback in the state of Illinois, and number 29 quarterback in the country. As a junior, Taylor ran for 1,671 rushing yards and 22 touchdowns. He passed for 1,542 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
I've talked to him. I know that kid.
Yeah, he's good. It was a bittersweet day for Illinois, though, as top safety target, three-star Greg Newsom from Glenbard North, committed to rival Northwestern, who's been in Fuego in the state. Dan Patrick's on, so yes. In Fuego.
He looks old.
5 of the 9, he's 60. 5 of the 9 Wildcats commitments are in-state prospects, and the Northwestern class currently ranks number 12 in the country. Illinois baseball swept Indiana State over the weekend. They improved their record to 9-16. Illini pitcher Ty Weber named Big Ten Freshman of the Week. He threw a complete game on Saturday. Illinois softball took 1 of 3 from number 6 Minnesota. Dylan Meyer won the individual title at the 3M Augusta Invitational.
So good.
Led the Illini to a 4th-place team finish at Augusta. Gonzaga goes for its first ever national championship tonight, while North Carolina looks to become just the 3rd program to win 6 national titles. 8:20 tip-off on CBS. White Sox rained out for their opener tonight. They'll make it up tomorrow.
Funny to me, it's just kind of funny.
In the 1 o'clock hour. Carlos Rodon sidelined 5 to 6 weeks.
That's not funny.
With bursitis in his left biceps.
Hey, for Illini basketball talk, tune in each Monday. Yep, still going from 6 to 7 for the 200 level. Is tonight the last one? Or are they still rolling? I think he said something like going through April.
Good for them, man. We picked them up for another season?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they
what do they talk about now?
I don't know.
It was all about John Gross. I'm wondering what Carpin...
I'm going to listen tonight, see what maybe they're breaking down like...
The retweet of Jeremiah Tillman.
Well, that and the remaking of DJ Williams' game.
Yes.
And how it fits into Underwood.
That sounds like a 200 level breakdown there.
Well, Carp and Breitweiser will be here on from College Game Day Live. They hop on every Monday from 6 to 7. You'll hear them tonight here on ESPN 93.5. Programming note, tomorrow...
Yep.
We're going to be at Jupiter's at the Crossing, and we've got Cardinals baseball tickets to give away.
Yeah, we got 2 tickets to give away to Wednesdays.
And we may have more. Carp said he's maybe working on, not for Wednesday's game, but for down the road games. But for sure, we're going to have 2 tickets to the Cardinals game on, I guess, I don't know if they can still jump on the bus or not.
No, we'll just give away the tickets.
We'll just give away the tickets. You got to get down to St. Louis. But it's Cardinals-Cubs, 12:45 on Wednesday. So we'll be late Wednesday getting on.
Yep. Let's get back to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. Don't forget, at Jupiter's The Crossing on Mondays, you can get $25. You can get 25 game tokens at Jupiter's The Crossing, one large, one topping pizza, soft drinks, and breadsticks.
That is an unbelievable
Not a bad deal. And Tuesdays, you can get half off large pizza, so come join us out there. Right now, let's go to Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are great, buddy.
After all this, it's a 1-against-1. Who'd have thunk it?
As the crazy season, the chalk it to the title, right? Everything we thought would be upsets, we thought there'd be surprises, and you got two teams that really have played well all year long, and from the beginning have kind of been the two teams you were kind of marking as teams that could get there.
Why did this Gonzaga team get this far when others couldn't?
Yeah, when you really look at it, I think the biggest improvement that this team has made is defense. They are really, really good defensively. That's probably been their knock in the past. Is they could outscore some teams, but could they stop teams? And they're physical. I think they've really been tested this year, especially in the NCAA tournament now with beating some physical teams. And that would used to be the thing is maybe you could rough up Gonzaga. You could kind of punk them, push them around, and that hasn't been the case. You look at they've beaten West Virginia, they've beaten Xavier, they've beaten South Carolina. Those are physical teams, and that's probably where Gonzaga would have struggled in the past. They're a much more physical team this year, and obviously we just mentioned the defense. They're able to lock teams up. And when you get into the NCAA tournament, you have to be able to score the basketball to win 6 games, but at some point you have to rely on your defense to get you through a game and pull out a win, and they've been able to get some stops late in games that have won games for them here at the end.
You know, Sean, and not only are they big, but they've got Nigel Williams-Goss, who is really putting on a show. It's never a coincidence that a team that gets this far has a really good guard, is it?
No, you got to have a good point guard and you got to have good guards, and that's college basketball. It helps to have the inside game, and obviously Gonzaga and Carolina both have great players inside that they rely on a lot, but you have to have guards. College basketball is all about guards, and really basketball is turning into a guards game. You can even see the NBA. It gets to the finals, and LeBron is the 5. You know, the lineups change at that point, and you're playing small ball, and that's usually your most effective lineup, most effective offense. So it is. It's a guards game. It's great to have that guy inside that you can pound it in there to get you an easy basket, get teams in foul trouble, maybe get some trips to the line, but you have to have good guards, and Nigel Williams-Goss has been terrific from start to finish, and he does what this team needs. If it's scoring 30, he's done that this year. If it's getting guys involved, he's had double-digit assist games. If he needs to be a stopper on one end, he can be that guy that can lock up a defender and get in the passing lane. So, and rebounds really well for his position as well. So he is a complete player, and it has really been the difference maker from this team losing a ton of guys to really being good.
I'm looking down the roster. I'm just laughing. Denmark, Japan, Poland, France, Canada. I mean, is Mark Few underrated as a coach, or do we give him his due?
Well, he's probably underrated because until this year he didn't get to the Final Four.
Good
and
call.
That seems like what everybody knocks coaches on. And, if you're getting to an NCAA tournament, I mean, it's laughable that some people are saying Calipari and Bill Self maybe are underachieving because they've only got one title. So I think there's just so much pressure put on coaches in the NCAA tournament, and it really takes away from their career list and what they've done. And what Mark Few has done is absolutely incredible. You're not going to see a run like this really at any program. And obviously Kansas is doing that in conference titles right now. But that's it. It's Kansas, it's UCLA, and it's Gonzaga. And nobody has had runs like this. I don't care what conference it is, to dominate a league like they have for 18 years. And then the success that they've had in the NCAA tournament, and they win games. There's very rare that they get to the tournament and lose in the first round. They make some runs, get to some Sweet 16s, and usually get to that second game of the tournament. And they made some deep runs as well. They just haven't been able to get over the hump. So I think Mark Few is a terrific coach, deserves a lot of credit, but he is probably underrated because they haven't had the long run in the Final Four run like they've had this year.
Sean Harrington, ESPN college basketball analyst, brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts. Give him a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. We've seen VCU, Wichita State, kind of emerge as actually national programs from that mid-major realm. But you kind of mentioned it. Gonzaga is doing it unlike anybody else. I mean, what can a program like Illinois State or another program like that, or Southern, that had its nice run?
Right.
What's the key to having this prolonged run?
Yeah, Gonzaga is run like a high major program. That's the biggest thing. And, people want to call them mid-major. They are because of the conference that they play in, but their budget is not mid-major. And you take a look at what they do. They're taking charter planes, and they're going and playing in every team possible that whoever will willing to play them non-conference, they're going to go play them. They're going to travel all over. And that's why they've been able to sustain it. They've put in the resources, they've put in the time, and they've made themselves into a power. And I remember I was talking to one coach who was going in for a job at a mid-major, and they said, we're going to be Gonzaga. We're going to be the next Gonzaga. We think you can do that for us. Make that. This is our vision. That's our goal. And so he came in there with a list of demands and said, no problem, I'm your guy, here's what I need. And the AD laughed at him. He says, where did you get this? He says, that's Gonzaga's budget.
Wow.
If you want to be Gonzaga, this is what you have to do. And he said, we can't do that. He says, then you're never going to be Gonzaga. And that's the bottom line. Is we talk about it all the time, that you can have a year or two, you can make a run, and you just mentioned it, the VCUs, the Wichitas, Butler's starting to sustain it a little bit more now. But if you're consistently being talked about nationally, you have to put the money in, you have to put the time, and you have to make the investment. And Gonzaga's done that, and that's why they've had the success that they've had.
I think America's rooting for Gonzaga tonight, but because North Carolina's here a lot. But it almost feels like, Sean and Juan mentioned this the other day, we don't talk about them as much as Kentucky or Kansas or Duke, the other blue bloods. Yet here they are in another national championship game. Roy Williams, ever since he started this, that's got Bill Self out of here. Right? Juan still hates Matt Doherty to this day. Doherty. But I mean, what a run they have had, and even at North Carolina, this has been impressive. But we still don't seem to talk about them as much as the rest of these blue bloods.
Yeah, no, if Sean May doesn't break his foot a week after they played Illinois in that regular season game, I think everybody stays in place. That was the downfall of Carolina, was Sean May breaking his foot. But you're right. Roy Williams did a terrific job there, and they haven't really had the one and done. The other programs that you're talking about is the Kentuckys, the Dukes, the Kansas. They maybe haven't had that star power, and that's what I really like about this year. Is these two teams are old. It's two teams that have veteran players. These two teams have had guys that maybe could have tested the waters, maybe could have left, but they stayed around. Or it's guys that, they're really not going to be great NBA players, but they're really, really good college players. And I think it's fun to watch. It's fun to see that these guys develop their games, and both teams have it. It's an older group. And it's definitely not Roy Williams' most talented team. If you look at the 14 years that he's been there, this is not his most talented group, but here they are having a chance maybe to win a title and be his third since he's been there.
What does Sean Harrington – no. What does Mark Few have to do – I don't know why I just said that. I literally just had like a mind – what does Mark Few have to do to I know maybe not the most talented Carolina team, but I think we would agree they're probably as athletic or more athletic than Gonzaga. So what does Few have to do to make this that style of game for Gonzaga, the style they want?
Yeah, I think they want to control the tempo. And Gonzaga can play fast, and they can score with Carolina. But I think you want to make North Carolina play in the half court. They are extremely dangerous when they can get out and run.
Right.
And that's where you want to control it, make it a efficient game, and maybe not slow the game down, but just make sure it's not a helter-skelter running gun up and down, because that's when North Carolina is at their best. You want to play at a good pace, but control the game. And obviously that's slowing the basketball down. It's not taking bad shots. It's taking good shots on your end so Carolina can't run out. It's slowing the basketball down on those run-outs, or even after made baskets, maybe just applying a little bit of pressure on that inbound so they can't get a full head of steam at you. But I really do think the pace of the game is going to be really important, and that's establishing the inside. If they can get Cardinals going early, put some pressure, on Meeks, maybe get him in foul trouble. It takes away one of those weapons for North Carolina on the inside.
And Karnowski gets his eye hurt, and they bring in Zach Collins, a lottery pick. That kid's ridiculously good, Sean.
He is really, really good, and unbelievable kind of how he, I won't say flew under the radar. People were talking about him early midway through the season, but I had heard some NBA scouts kind of talking about saying he'll be a lottery pick, and this is back in probably January, early January, and I think that's surprising because a lot of people were not talking about him at that point in the season. But he is good. He's skilled. He's long. He can step out. He can block shots, and obviously he's only going to get better just being a freshman. So I would imagine there's a very, very good chance this is his last game in the Gonzaga uniform, and he will go to the NBA next year and probably be a top 15 pick.
So, Sean, we started game 6 months ago. What do you think of this matchup? Who's going to win it?
I think it's the matchup we all wanted. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I think both teams play a good style, so it's shaping up to be a very exciting game tonight. I like Gonzaga from the very beginning of the season, and before the season started, I said they'd get to the Final Four this year. I like the pieces that they have, and I like their team, and it's a fun group to watch. So I'm going to pick Gonzaga, and I'll give you a 76-71 final.
Wow.
And I think it'll be a fun game, getting into the 70s, up and down, teams making big plays back and forth, and Gonzaga hanging on at the end.
I'm with you.
I am too.
I'm with you.
I got the Zags too.
I think this is their year. I didn't know Sean was going to throw a score out and get all dominant here.
Yeah, and Sean, I think the Joel Berry injury. Yeah. I think that was kind of North Carolina's advantage there, and I think they lost that.
It is big, and obviously he didn't shoot the ball well against Oregon, and I think the injury affected that. But he had 5-6 days to get it ready. He doesn't have that now. This is a quick turnaround. It'll be very interesting to see how does he react, how does he play on a quick turnaround. When you're nursing an injury like that, it could definitely affect you, and he is the head of that team. And if he's not at 100% and can't get other guys involved to make easy plays, it is definitely an advantage where, Nigel Williams-Goss now is definitely the best point guard in the game with Barry being injured.
Sean, on the Illinois side of things, Brad Underwood was at the Final Four. I'm sure he met with a couple people to talk about his assistant job. So we'll probably hear news on that later this week. But he's probably got to meet with the players soon, the individual meetings. What are those like, especially with a team with a new coach?
Yeah, very interesting. And, this is, you almost have to re-recruit guys, and guys almost have to try to get a feel for the coach. And there could be some times here where it's just not a perfect fit. So I would not be surprised if potentially you lost a guy here, you lost a guy there. It's not a knock on the player. It's not a knock on the coach. It's just not the right fit. And I think it's hard to maybe find that out in this short of notice because you're not going through the recruiting process. You're asking the players maybe even go do their own research to see what kind of style he plays, where they think they can fit, because you haven't seen them play, you haven't seen them coach. These guys weren't paying attention to Stephen F. Austin or Oklahoma State the last few years. So it's probably trying to get a feel for each other personality-wise. Do you click? Do you mesh? Is it a good fit? And obviously Brad Underwood's got to make the best decisions for himself as well, and be honest with the guys that maybe he sees, hey, I see your role as this, and really fitting in well. And to be honest with a guy and say, this is the way I play. I don't know if that's going to be the best interest for you. It may be a struggle for you to get minutes. Would you like to maybe test the waters, go somewhere else? So I think there needs to be a lot of honest communication back and forth. It's a tough decision for both Underwood and the kids, but when these things happen, a lot of times kids are going to a school obviously for the style of play, and this is going to be a different style of play, and you got to see if it's a good adjustment and a good fit for both people.
Sean, last question.
This is it.
The
last question ever for Sean Harrington.
Well, this season. Year, at least. If you could give Illinois a player, what position would it be, and what skill set would he have? Now, it can't be LeBron James or any five-star, but if you could give them a player, what kind of skill set would he be? What position would he be?
Ooh.
Hey, I'm huge on point guards. They're hard to find. It's hard to find a true point. It's hard to find a guy. And obviously, you want to say he can score the basketball and assist the basketball, but to find a true point guard that knows how to read defenses, to get his teammates involved, and is also a very good scorer in his own right, it's difficult to find. There's combo guards. There's great assist guards that can't score. There's great scoring guards that maybe can't get his teammates involved. But it's rare to find that really true point guard that can score and get his teammates involved. I think it's the most important position in basketball, especially college basketball. And so that would be the position that I would want to build my team around if I could have that elite point guard that is a great passer, good reader of the defense, and a good scorer as well.
I'm with you on that. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Sean Harrington, it is always an absolute clinic to have you come on. I love your input. I love your information, your knowledge about the game of basketball. You played it at a high level. You coached it at a high level, and we are very lucky to have you every year, buddy. So we appreciate it again from us to you. Thank you so much, my friend.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast, and we're going to get some winning going for you guys. You guys deserve. Amen. You guys do a great job covering all Illinois sports. So the golf team, I love golf, and I love following Illinois golf, but they cannot be the highlight of the university every year. We need to get you guys some football and basketball wins to talk about. So hopefully that can keep turning around for you.
Will we be talking about an NCAA tournament team next year?
I believe it can be.
Yes.
I really do. I really believe that it can be. A lot of times you see these coaching changes, it pumps the energy up. And I just think there's going to be more competitive practices because everybody's trying to prove themselves to the new coach. And then sometimes there's just that fresh voice. You see those teams make those big leaps after there is a coaching change at times. And there's enough talent on that team right now, and with some of the guys coming in, that it can be, if they're coached up the right way, it can definitely be an NCAA tournament team next season.
I think this is going to work, and since this is the last time I talked to you for a while, the Cardinals have a one-game lead on the Chicago Cubs. We're the best team in the division, Sean.
I don't know if they can overcome that one game. There's just not enough time in the season.
Right.
I'm really worried at this point. My Cubs fear is already kicking in.
I've
been a Cubs fan for too long. I'm paranoid already.
Trade Arrieta White and get something
get
for
rid
him.
of everybody.
Absolutely.
The panic is real for Cubs fans.
Rebuild. They got to rebuild.
Sean, thanks, buddy.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Talk to you soon. Sean Harrington, man, I tell you what.
He's the goods.
We have so many recurring guests, and I could go on and on about all of them. And we've had a couple today, Kevin Wheeler and Sean Harrington, that are just absolute. Every time we have them on.
Maybe Karan Taylor should be a recurring guest because he was great today, too.
I'd be fine with that if he wants to come on. We are going to try to talk with Claves tomorrow. Mike Claiborne, who's speaking of recurring guests. Claves. So I forgot we'll be at Jupiter's The Crossing, so we'll have Claves on from Jupiter's.
That's right. Coming up next, though, we got Crosstalk with Carp and Breitweiser. I don't know what they're going to talk about now.
Carp is eating
Mark Smith angst.
Yeah.
It's going to be an hour of Mark Smith talk.
Is that what it's going to be?
Probably.
Like just mad?
Yeah. I like your idea.
Tom Izzo. Breaking
down DJ Williams' game.
I think that's what they ought to do.
For a half hour. There's a scouting report on DJ Williams.
And it
is 8 minutes a game.
Then the next 30 minutes, Jordan's game.
Yes.
So we'll just break both of those guys down. We'll have it figured out.
I'd listen.
I would too.
We should have done that.
Well, maybe
it's award-winning radio.
Maybe Wednesday. Yeah. It is the Tay and J Show.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you have to do is call Matex Heating and Cooling to take advantage of Train's Weather Any Season sale. Choose between special financing for 6 years or special trade-in allowances on qualifying Train systems. Call 355-9700 or visit us online at mattexservice.com for more information. It's hard to stop a train. Any season, any weather. Matex Heating and Cooling, servicing East Central Illinois.
Subject to credit approval. Call for details.
Beacon Insurance and your local independent agent are committed to providing the best coverage options and the best service possible. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at beaconinsurance.com and on social media. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Beacon Insurance. It's a great way to learn more about insurance for your auto, home, life, or business. You'll stay up to date with important announcements. Plus, they'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. For beyond the expected information, follow Beacon Insurance on Facebook today.
Law Enforcement Official of the Month brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com. sports. What is Crisis Intervention Team?
They're a group of officers that get extensive training in dealing with people who are suicidal, who are in crisis, with mental illness. People that, in a perfect world, the police wouldn't be their first contact, but unfortunately that's not the way it works.
How long have you been doing this?
I worked for Vermilion County for the Sheriff's Department for 5 years, and this April will be my 21st year at the U of I.
Serious?
Yeah.
Started when you were 10 or what?
Yeah, 23.
Brian Tyson is our law enforcement official of the month. Have you seen, the reason I ask how long, have you seen a higher incidence of mental illness?
Unfortunately, mental illness funding in our country, and especially in the state of Illinois, has been cut for so long, hundreds of millions of dollars. And with the state of our budget, it's not coming back. Most people that don't have the means, their intro into the mental health system is through the justice system.
Brought to you by SK Home Improvement. Congratulations.
Napa know-how.
The Napa Bucket is on sale for $2.99. It's engineered from high-quality plastic, and it comes with a metal handle to make it portable. You're probably thinking, that sounds like any old bucket, but it's not, because regular buckets don't get you 20% off almost anything you put in it. So pick up a Napa Bucket today and get 20% off the parts you need. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Minimum 3 items. Some exclusions apply. Offer good while supplies last.
Our Champaign County nursing home failed a recent public health inspection. They've been fined for inadequate care. Medicare has dropped them to a 1-star rating, and over 80 beds are empty. Seniors in our community deserve better. We've given the politicians who run the home over $37 million, and now have the worst-run nursing home in the county. Now they want more money, but refuse to make changes. We need to take the nursing home out of the hands of politicians and put it in the hands of a responsible organization that knows how to manage care for seniors. Opponents of a sale are spreading falsehoods. If the nursing home is sold, not only will no one be kicked out, but more seniors will be helped, and the quality of life will be improved for all. It's time to stop the political games and bring in professional management. On April 4th, vote no on the property tax hike and vote yes to sell the nursing home to someone who will give our seniors care they deserve. This is paid for by Save CCNH. Vote to sell.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by the guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111. Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Warner. And as is normal on a Monday now during basketball season from 6 to 7, of course, the 200 level. And we are joined for some crosstalk by Steve Breitweiser and Mike Carpenter. How are you, boys?
Hey.
Carp, we renewed you guys for another season, a month?
4 weeks.
Okay.
The trailer was a hit.
So the pilot went off well.
And the pilot went great. We got a nice little audience now. I think a lot of people stick around. If they don't, they listen to the podcast afterwards.
I love it.
And, we'll do the next 4 weeks. This week and the final week of April will be live. The next 2 weeks, what we'll do is we'll record the podcast when you guys are done on Monday. There was a Cardinals conflict. And then I think we'll broadcast them live the next Tuesday morning, the next day, 9 a.m. after Stevie's show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. What are you going to talk about tonight?
What aren't we going to talk about?
The retweet heard around the world?
Yeah, we're going to start with Jeremiah Tillman. Mark Smith.
Do we? I know he's recommitted, whatever. But do we know that? Maybe he just wanted to retweet the thing.
Don't you like though? If that is his way of saying I'm in. Yeah.
I like the fact there was no effort put into it other than hitting the retweet button.
So guys,
this guy has
already.
won me over like no recruit because I'm not even putting another sentence on it.
Yeah.
I'm going back.
I didn't need to.
The only effort, I'm digging through all my tweets, unless it was pinned, and I'm going to send it on through.
That's perfect. I mean, he didn't need to do anything else. Like
he's committed 3 times to the University of Illinois. It's pretty nice.
I agree with you.
If you think about it, July, November.
I guess he reaffirmed. I do think it's hilarious that we need reaffirmation on all of this. Like throughout this whole process, like we've had Derek on, and Derek's been on our site, and guys, he said last week, guys, he's going to be in Illini. But until that kid tweets it, you don't feel like people don't feel great about it. It's kind of an amazing phenomenon.
Yeah, Illinois fans are gun shy though, and I think that with Tillman in particular, because of the saga you had with Salou back in the fall, that you thought, well, maybe this isn't completely wrapped up, but yeah, it is wrapped up. And I think the biggest thing so far in these first few weeks of the Underwood era is that you have locked up this recruiting class that some people were afraid that you would not, and that was something that Steve and I harped on, and I think you guys did too. That let it play out, but in all likelihood, these guys will stay. And yeah, it might have taken a bit of a leap of faith for me to say that as equivocally as I did, but it just seemed from the start like, you know what, if you bring in a good coach, these guys are not going anywhere.
Absolutely. I agree. Mark Smith.
Is that the next thing to freak out about?
Who?
That guy.
Mark Smith. Okay.
That guy. Not the guy that played back in the day with Eddie Johnson, but this other Mark Smith.
Steve, what's your crystal ball pick right now for Mark Smart?
Crystal ball pick? It's hazy. But I loved the picture of Izzo with Dane Fife at the Dairy Queen. I mean, they're hitting it hard.
That's so Midwest.
Those guys get after it. They don't care.
Chicken strips.
That's how
with
ruthless
DQ.
their recruiting setup is.
Right. They're
coming in. They're late in the game. They're hitting your Dairy Queen. Anybody wants a selfie, they're taking them with them.
They're taking over your town.
Yeah. Come on, you got to like it the way Izzo rolls.
I mean, we know what Izzo's going to sell.
Yes.
Yeah.
What does Underwood sell?
Well, because the immediate playing time, I think, goes out the window.
Yeah.
Mark Smith would play immediately at Michigan State. It would simply be, my offense is a better fit for you, I guess.
And in-state. It's a 2-hour drive for your parents.
Yeah, and also that you sell, and I think this is something, too. I don't know how many guys want to be the one to change around a program, and I feel like there was an interview in the last couple of weeks where someone indicated.
It was Robert Smith.
Robert Smith.
You guys talked to him, and he said sometimes they don't want to be that.
Yeah, so I don't think you sell that angle. I think you sell that you're coming in with a great freshman class. There's already pieces here. We're going to win immediately, and hope that counters the fact that Tom Izzo can say, I've been to 7 Final Fours?
Yeah.
That next year with Langford and Winston and Ward, Bridges, doubtful. But you can still have Bridges and Smith on the court at the same time for a lot of the game.
If he picks Michigan State, how do you feel, Cart?
Can't blame him. It would suck.
Yeah, it would.
Because that's your program-changing class if you get him.
Yeah.
Right now it's a very good class. It is program-changing, I think, if you get Mark Smith.
Steve?
I kept thinking Gary Harris, right? And just some
great comp.
He's got so many guys he can point to and say, look at this guy, look at that guy.
Denzel.
And that's what you don't have here. And I think that's why it's going to make this so tough, going right to the finish line. But I think you got to feel good if you're Illinois and you were in on this fairly early, right? You know me, I kept wondering, why are you not offering this guy? Why are they waiting?
Even though they were like the second offer, third offer.
I know, but I think I go back to it. It just didn't. The first moment that I saw the clips of his video.
Oh, my goodness.
To me, I was wondering, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
I mean, I think
especially with this staff, like, what'd you have to lose?
I keep thinking it was just post-depth.
I do know some of the assistants wanted it to be quicker.
Well, they wanted a lot of things to be done, and then it just took forever and ever.
I don't know, but I don't think that would have changed anything necessarily, because even if you did, you'd still be at this point where you'd have them, taking it right down to the end, and you would have gotten everybody on his scent earlier.
I agree. And I told Jeremy the one thing that Illinois fans, Carp, have to appreciate is that this family's been patient with Illinois.
Very.
They've been through a lot. Coaching change, everything, bad basketball, and they've been patient enough not to just automatically say, you're not in the mix.
No, and I think on the flip side, they probably appreciate that Illinois, especially Josh Whitman, was probably involved from the get-go, knowing that there could be a change at the end of the season. I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways to sell him to come here instead of Michigan State. Logically, the easy choice is Michigan State.
Sure.
Maybe it's a consideration where my parents can drive up 2.5 hours and see me play every game. I don't know. You hope something like that turns the tide.
I did like the split screen that somebody had of Kendall Gill dunking and then him dunking, and it was like a like a mirror image of each other, right? I'm
He can
like,
get up, man.
I mean, I think he can, if he
I
looks
like
at
that.
it, he
I
can kind
like
of
that.
see himself.
Yeah.
Any Illinois football recruiting talk? Like,
Yeah, we could talk about
losing stuff to Northwestern. And
is it Koran?
Quran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Quran.
Quran.
Taylor. Got it. No, we will reference that. It's mostly basketball, but
You guys aren't bringing down the depth chart?
we
for
do
fall?
have every week we get a tweet from someone to talk about the offensive line depth chart. Maybe next week.
Harry Black could break that down for you if you want him to stay.
Is
for a
Harry the
little bit.
one tweeting at you?
He'll be a special guest, episode 14.
Well,
Next
nice.
week.
Are you going to do the DJ Williams breakdown?
Yeah.
Like Aaron Jordan breakdown?
Steve?
That's what we want.
That's what go on
Next
that
week.
One. Okay.
Next week. We've been working on it, and then eventually you'll.
Fair enough.
Do you have an
We'll
assistant
lay
coach list?
Not really. Shane Hireman brings Bowen. Why not? Whatever.
Did they win? They were on.
Well, yeah, they won.
did win?
They won the Dix National.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Have a great 200 level show. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks to our guys, Kevin Wheeler, 101 ESPN, Karan Taylor, Peoria quarterback and New Illini football commit, and Sean Harrington. If you missed any of the show, get the podcast, ESPNCU.com, or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. Thanks to Tyler Knight, Jack Long, and Harry Black.
And don't forget, tomorrow we will be live at Jupiter's at the Crossing, so come see us. We will be giving away Cardinal baseball tickets. Best team in baseball.
Papa Shot. We've been working on our game.
Oh, that's
We gotta
right.
do some Papa Shot.
You know how big those Papa Shot rims will look?
Harry's got to come to Jupiter's.
Yeah.
Harry and Tyler.
You got to do Papa Shot.
Yeah.
For sure. We're going. Tay and J Show.
What are you right?
Bunny's Tavern is your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs. Nothing beats watching baseball over an ice-cold beer, so enjoy $13.50 mix-and-match domestic buckets and $6 PBR pitchers 7 days a week. You'll catch every minute of Cubs action on Bunny's 10 big-screen TVs, whether you're inside or enjoying the largest heated patio in Urbana. So come check out what people in Champaign-Urbana have been whispering about for over 75 years. Bunny's Tavern in downtown Urbana, your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs.
Welcome back to How Well Do You Know Your Meat? Now back to the trivia. The freshest meat comes from your local grocery store. True or false?
True.
No. Contestant number 2.
It's false. The freshest meat in town comes from the U of I Meat Sales Room off of Florida Avenue in Urbana.
Yes, that's correct. You're a winner.
For the freshest cuts of meat in town, visit the U of I Meat Sales Room. Open Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 5:30 and Friday from 8 until 1. Just off Florida on South Maryland in Urbana.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack? When you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price. And because Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular set, complete with a razor, one of their world-famous blades, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free if you cover shipping. A total value of $20 at no cost to you, with code 1126 at checkout. Their way of saying thank you for trying them. How is Harry's able to save you all this money and still give you the best shave you'll ever enjoy? By owning the factory that manufactures the blades. That's how. Go to harrys.com now and enter code 1126 at checkout to claim your free trial set and post-shave